Super Mario Bros. 3 is not just one of the best games on the NES, but is absolutely one of the greatest video games of all time. Featuring more levels than you think could possibly fit on an NES cartridge, and more different power-ups than later games in the series, Super Mario Bros. 3 is just as fun to play today as it was over 30 years ago. With over 40 million cartridges sold, the original Super Mario Bros. Wasn't just the best-selling game on the NES, but it defined an entire generation of gaming. In the Atari era, most of the action was confined to a single screen or a small space. Super Mario Bros. Had a world that felt enormous, and the background scrolled smoothly as you jumped and ran. Tons of games would try to imitate this style, some more successfully than others. The Super Mario Bros. 2 that we got in the United States was also a huge hit, selling 7.4 million copies, despite being an entirely different game from the Super Mario Bros. 2 that released in Japan. Mario was more than just a video game, he had become an icon. Super Mario is so famous that my grandmother would recognize him. As popular as Mario is today, in the late 80s and early 90s, the world was overtaken with Mario Mania. In addition to a daily cartoon show, Mario could be found on everything. He even had a breakfast cereal. Nintendo's dream team of Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka wanted to capitalize on the hype with a bigger and better Mario sequel. The Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2 looked too much like the original game, and it was just too difficult. It had been made hastily so it could release with the Famicom Disk System, and Miyamoto knew they could do better. This time, Kensuke Tanabe would join the team as a designer. He was the director of the international version of Super Mario Bros. 2 that we're more familiar with in North America. A small team of artists and designers was assembled. At this time, levels still had to be drawn by hand, and to accomplish Miyamoto's vision, they were going to need lots of them. Nintendo's new MMC3 chip allowed Miyamoto's team to create a much bigger game than before. It also allowed for smooth vertical and diagonal scrolling. The action in the original Super Mario Bros. Only moves from left to right along the same horizontal plane. In Super Mario Bros. 3, you can freely explore in all directions. You can even fly. This time, the game's 8 worlds each have their own distinct theme, but the individual courses within have a ton of variety. For this game, Nintendo introduced the map screen, which allows players to choose their own path through the game and has a ton of interactive elements. This would become a staple of the series. The soundtrack was once again composed by Koji Kondo, who brilliantly uses different musical styles to create the mood for each world. Through some sort of incredible Nintendo magic, Super Mario Bros. 3 manages to convey a story through athletic gameplay. When you reach the end of the game after playing through 8 worlds, the experiences you'll have read like a real adventure. There's so much here that you can play it for years and it will still surprise you. They even managed to improve the 2-player mode. Players can work as a team, or even challenge each other in the battle mode, a clever nod to the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. The game was released in Japan in October of 1988, where it was an instant success. It wouldn't be released in North America until February of 1990, but it's not like US gamers hadn't heard about it. Every video game magazine had coverage and pictures. It was prominently featured in the movie The Wizard, and if you were lucky, you could find it on a PlayChoice 10 arcade machine. So it's no surprise that Super Mario Bros. 3 was a huge hit when it released in North America. The launch was such a big deal that McDonald's released Happy Meal toys. There were some changes made from the Japanese version. If you've never played Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Famicom, You may be surprised to find out that it is significantly more difficult. Normally, if you have an advanced power-up and you get hit, you'll turn into Super Mario, but in the Japanese version, a single hit will take you all the way back to Small Mario. If you consider yourself an expert at this game, you may appreciate the additional challenge of this version. In modern times, players and critics alike still enjoy Super Mario Bros. 3. When IGN released their list of the top 100 NES games of all time, they ranked it number 1, and on their list of the top games for any system, they ranked it number 11. Nintendo later released a version of the game with updated graphics and sound with their Super Mario All-Stars collection for the Super Nintendo. I personally prefer the NES original, but the gameplay on All-Stars is nearly identical, so you can't go wrong with either version. If you want to play Super Mario Bros. 3 on a modern platform, it is one of the games included on the NES Classic Mini, and with the Switch's online service. Modern players that attempt this game will still have to deal with all of the challenges the NES is notorious for. This game introduces auto-scrolling to the series, and if you make a mistake, it could be instant death. Be careful not to run out of lives, or almost every level you've completed will be undone. But what if I told you the best way to complete every level? Even the optional ones? What if I showed you tons of secret tricks, including the hidden warp in World 7 that takes you directly to the princess? And what if I showed you easy ways to defeat every boss? Even Bowser himself? Well, on today's episode of You Can Beat Video Games, we'll learn all of that and more. If you're new to the channel, we're doing deep dives on retro video games and giving you the professional strategies that can be used by the casual gamer. Please make sure to subscribe and check out youcanbeatvideogames.com for episode lists, news, and official You Can Beat Video Games merchandise. Let's get started. All right, Super Mario Bros. 3. Before we jump into the game, there's a trick I want to show you that requires Game Genie. Now to do this trick, you need to put in a 2-part code. It's OXKIPZOS, and the second part is APKSALAZ. So to remember it, I just think of OXKIPZOS, APK Once you put in both parts, you'll want to start up the game, and you'll be able to walk anywhere you want on the map, which is cool unto itself. But if you go to the upper left corner, you'll find the spot where the programmers hid the battle game in one-player mode. Even better, if you can win this battle mode, and it's not very hard to do, you just need to punch the enemies from below and then kick them before they get back up. You'll need to clear 5 of them to win the battle game. If you can do that, or if Luigi dies, the only way this doesn't work is if Mario dies, you will respawn as Luigi, and now you can play as Luigi in one-player mode. You will need to use a controller that's plugged into controller port 2. Now, if you're a big fan of the Green Plumber, don't get too excited about this. After you clear World 1, the game gets a little bit wonky. Suddenly, whenever you enter any level, you will clear the world that you're on. And that's not really ideal. If you were hoping to play the game as Luigi, you were probably hoping to play some of the levels, not instantly clear the world. Yeah, it's a very strange thing. If you want to play as Luigi by yourself, the best way to do it is to just start a 2-player game, kill off Mario, and when the game asks Mario if he wants to continue, choose End instead, and you'll be able to play as much Luigi as you want. It's really that simple. Alright, there's one other Game Genie code that I want to show you before we get into the game. This one is KKZSPIU. This code unlocks the game's debug mode. You'll see on the title screen there's a little arrow that lets you select which world we start on, and if you press the A button, it'll give you 5 extra lives per press. Here in the game, you'll see we have a full inventory with one of each item, plus a bunch of P-Wings to round it out. Once we get into an actual level, you'll see that those inventory items are probably unnecessary because you can just press select to scroll through all of the different power-ups. Hold down the B button as you press select to get the shoe item, although it's a little bit glitchy looking. And if you've ever wondered if you can shoot hammers while using the shoe, now you know. Now, no Super Mario Bros. 3 video would be complete without talking about the warp whistles. There are 3 warp whistles and 2 of them are here in World 1. The first one you'll find here in 1-3. In this video, I'm going to do a deep dive on every level in the game, but before that, I want to show where the 3 warp whistles are located, and then I'm just going to give a quick overview of how you can use the warp whistles to beat the game. If you've never beaten Super Mario Bros. 3 before, today is the day. When you get to the end of 1-3, you'll see this white box. Hold down while you're standing on top of it, and eventually you'll drop through. Once you find yourself behind the background elements, just run to the right and you'll discover this hidden room where you'll get the first warp whistle. So now we have 1 warp whistle. The second one is in the fortress, but before we head over there, we can visit this Toad's house where we'll be able to pick up a random item. There won't be any Toad's houses in World 8, so it's good to stock up on items while we can. You can also grab some extra lives in that spade block, but make your way over here into the fortress. Quickly run to the right. This box contains a power-up, but if you already have a raccoon tail, you'll want to skip the fire flower that comes out. If you came in here small though, make sure to get the mushroom, because you'll need to get a second power-up at this box so that you'll be able to fly. Crush this dry bones enemy, then run back and forth until your P meter lights up. Then you can just jump into the air, start rapidly tapping A, fly up and over the wall, run to the right and press up to enter this secret room where we'll get the second warp whistle. At this point, we can go to the end of the game. If you play 1 warp whistle and then play another one while you're in the warp zone, which technically counts as World 9, it'll bring you down to the World 8 pipe. But we don't have very many items, so unless you're very good at the game, I recommend that we finish World 1 first and make sure that we pick up any items that we can before we get out of here. If you're interested in finding the third and final warp whistle, you have to beat World 1 anyways because the third warp whistle is in World 2. So we'll hit up this Toad's house. There's 3 possible things we can get out of the box here: a mushroom, a fire flower, or a leaf. Hopefully you won't get a mushroom. The other 2 power-ups are a lot better. And whenever you finish this world, we'll get a P-Wing, which we are going to use later. So once you get to World 2, you want to make your way to the upper right corner of the map, but you need to defeat the Hammer Brothers before you can move forward, because one of them is going to give you an item that is a hammer. That wasn't it, that was the music box, so it's got to be the other Hammer Brother that has it. We'll have to go through the pyramid here. And this guy is going to have that hammer item, and the hammer just allows you to break rocks on the map screen. So we're going to use this hammer in the upper right corner to open up a new part of the map. You can also hear the Hammer Brother walking over there, so that kind of gives you a clue that there's something going on here. If you go in this Toad's house, you'll also get a frog suit for whatever that's worth, and this is the Fire Brothers. The easiest way to beat them is to just use the Starman that we got from the Hammer Brother in World 1. And that will get us the third and final warp whistle. I'd feel weird about not going to this Toad's house, but the frog suit is not going to be very useful if we're using the warp whistles to go to the end of the game. At this point, we should probably finish World 2. Our reward for completing it is a Jukum's Cloud. Once you get to World 3, you can use your warp whistle. And since we have 3 warp whistles, we'll take a detour to World 5. The first few levels in World 5 aren't that difficult, so you want to clear 5-1, 5-2, and probably 5-3. And one of the Hammer Brothers here in World 5 has a P-Wing, so that's why we came here. The other one has a Starman, so that's not as exciting, but you can always use the Starman against the Hammer Brothers, so that makes them easier to fight. So we'll power up with the Starman and just easily blow through these guys. And that's going to get us a second P-Wing. And with 2 P-Wings and the Jukum's Cloud, we are very ready for the final world. But we might as well get whatever we can out of that spade that has the card game inside it as well, and also pick up some extra lives. Once you're ready to go, blow your whistle. And then we're going to play a second whistle while we're here in the warp zone. You could also go to World 7. If you play the whistle when you're in World 7, that will also take you to World 8. So now we're back at World 8, but we have a lot of stuff. Don't use your P-Wing or your Cloud yet, but use any of your other items to try to make the tanks easier. And then whenever you get to these ships, you just need to get past the first ship here, and you can actually swim underneath the other 2 ships. So this stage is actually trivial. So we just need to get past a few enemies here at the beginning, and we're going to jump into the water and carefully swim under the bow of the next ship. Once you get underneath, you do need to keep tapping A. If you stop pressing the button, you could fall off the bottom of the screen and die. And eventually you'll get to the end where you'll find a pipe and the boss will be inside. This guy is Boom Boom. He is very easy. You just need to stomp him 3 times. And that will finish off the ships, and we'll be able to go deeper into Darkland. Clearing the ships will open up that door, so we're going to head through the pipe, and that's going to lead us over here. These hand traps are pretty easy, so I do recommend taking on all 3 of them. Whenever you finish these hand trap levels, you're going to get a leaf item, so this is a good place where you can stock up on extra leaves at the end of the game. There's not going to be any other opportunities to get items. This airship level is very difficult, so I recommend if you're a beginner at this game, now is the time to use one of your P-Wings. And when we come into this area, 8-1 is another difficult level, so this is where I recommend using the second P-Wing that we picked up in World 5. As a bonus, using a P-Wing here in 8-1 will make it a lot easier to collect all these coins at the beginning, and also to fly up to this hidden pipe in the sky, which has 3 1-ups inside. So you might as well do this if you're using the P-Wing here. Grab those 3 1-ups, and then you're going to exit at the bottom of the screen. Once you get out of here though, you want to fly back up into the air so that you can avoid all of the chaos below. So just keep flying to the right, and eventually the right side of the screen will start to flicker. That's how you know you've reached the end. So drop down and hit the goal. And those are the 2 most difficult levels in the game, so now that we're past them, there's 8-2, which can be easily completed using a shortcut. So just go into the first quicksand trap that you see and sink down into the bottom of it. There are two pipes down here and they both essentially lead to the same place, but if you take the pipe on the left, you'll be able to find an extra power-up, so if you're not already in raccoon form, I recommend that you go that way. When you emerge from the pipe, two Venus fire traps will shoot at you, so watch out for them. Then you can slide down the hill, get a running start, make a big jump, and then just flap your tail to get some extra distance. That's the easiest way to get across there. The next level is the fortress, but that's why we brought the Jukum's Cloud item. You can use it to skip right over. And then we're going to take a left at the fork in the map and go down the pipe, which will lead us to the final map. As long as we don't run out of lives here, you'll never have to play through that fortress, so just use whatever items you have left to complete the super tank, and then it's time for the Castle of Koopa. Survive the game's final traps, and you'll finally rescue Princess Toadstool. I didn't even know she was missing. Now, if you start up a new game after watching the ending, you may be surprised to find that your entire inventory will be filled with P-Wings. So if there were any levels you ever wanted to fly through, there's your opportunity. Now, warp whistles are cool and all, but the real fun of this game is experiencing all of the levels, so let's start a new game and do just that. World 1-1 is your typical easy starter level. There's a super mushroom at the beginning to power you up, and as long as you don't get hit, you can kick this Koopa Troopa into the box on the right to get a super leaf, which will transform you into Raccoon Mario. Anytime you see a white box in the background, you can crouch down on top of it to disappear behind the background elements, and as long as you're behind something, the enemies won't be able to damage you. That'll make it easier to build up the momentum you need to fly up here where you can get a 1-up, and then you can hold down the run button and use those clouds as a runway so that you can get enough momentum to fly over here where you'll find a hidden pipe, and inside there's a bunch of coins that are shaped like the number 3. Since this is Super Mario Bros. 3, there are 3s all over the place in this game, so that's a pretty common theme. If you head to the right, you'll be able to finish the level, but right over here, you'll find the game's first P-switch. This was the game that introduced the P-switches to the series, and whenever you hit them, it will transform any bricks into coins for a short amount of time. In World 1-2, there's a very easy trick that we can perform to get a ton of extra lives. You'll need a raccoon tail to do it. Luckily, there's a power-up right here at the beginning, and there's another one over to the right that you'll be able to grab if you need it. To get those extra lives, you want to jump on these Goombas that are just pouring out of that pipe on the left. Whenever you land on one, hold down the jump button so you get maximum height, and as you're going downwards, keep tapping the A button to slow your descent with your raccoon tail. You need to keep hitting the enemies without touching the ground, and you'll get a bunch of points at first, but then eventually you'll start getting 1-ups. You can hold up to 99 lives. If you get any more lives after that, they won't count. If you die with 99 lives, you'll go back to 98 no matter how many more you collected after that. But that is a really easy place to get a ton of 1-ups, and then you won't have to worry about lives for the rest of the game. If you hit the P switch underneath this pipe, it'll turn those coins into bricks, and that'll make it easier to get on top of this pipe where you can find a 1-up. But you can also jump to the pipe from the hill on the right side. It's not that difficult to do. Just don't bump into the Venus fire trap that pops out of there. Whenever you emerge from that pipe, you'll also see that many of the power-ups have respawned, so if you need to collect one of these power-ups again so you can do that 1-up trick, feel free to go through that pipe as many times as you need to. Over here, when you bump that musical note block, you'll find a Starman, and you can use it to easily get to the end of the level. Before we leave 1-2, if you're able to make it here with a P-wing, you can actually fly underneath the level. It's not a particularly useful trick, but it is a weird one. Why would the programmers put a tunnel there? Levels 1-3 and 1-4 are both optional, but if you complete either of them, you'll be able to unlock the Toad's house that's beyond. So we'll head to 1-3, that's definitely the easier of the two levels. Kicking a Koopa into this complex of bricks not only reveals a bunch of coins and a power-up item, which you can find down here. Now if you get a little bit of a run and then hold down, you'll be able to slide. That's how I was able to do that. But there's also the hidden red note block, which will bring you up here to Coin Heaven. And if you get a good run going on here in Coin Heaven, you can even fly up above where you'll find more coins and a 1-up. So don't miss out on that if you have the raccoon power-up. Collect as many coins as you can and then head down the pipe. Coin Heaven will drop you off right here at the end of 1-3, and if you run with full P speed and jump into the lower left corner of the box at the end of each level, you'll almost always get a star card, and 3 stars will get you 5 extra lives. Don't forget, if you're playing a 2-player game, you can use the battle mode to consolidate your cards. So that's another way you can get 3 stars. We'll head over to Toad's house. At this Toad's house, you could get a mushroom, a leaf, or a flower. It doesn't matter which box you pick, the game just gives you a random item regardless. World 1-4 is optional, but if you can collect 44 coins in here, we have 52 right now, so we'll need to have 96 at the end. We will get a very good reward for that, so it's worth attempting. You can also get a couple 1-ups in here, which is nice. Make sure you hit this one from the left side so that the 1-up will travel to the right. Over here you can grab a power-up, but do not miss these coins. There's actually 11 coins in that 10 coin block if you hit them fast enough. Over here we can get another 1-up. If you have a raccoon tail, you can just hit it with your tail, otherwise you'll need to use a Koopa shell. And then we're going to ride this platform down, collecting all of the coins, but we need to hurry up and collect as many coins as we can out of that coin block above. Right now we have 93 coins, so we need to get 3 more, and there they are. So we hit the goal of getting 44 coins. And if you want to get a star here, you need to run back and forth a little bit to get enough momentum. That's one of the hardest cards to make into a star. And you'll see that we revealed the hidden white mushroom house. Because this is an odd numbered world, World 1, we're going to get a P-Wing, which is probably the best item in the game. Before we head to the fortress, if we stop on one of these spade spaces, we can play a bonus game to potentially win some extra lives. If you get 2 mushrooms lined up, there's a little bit at the bottom of the second reel that seems to be moving. I like to press the button when that little bit is lined up, and oftentimes that will work. Hopefully you got some extra lives, but even if you didn't, make your way into the World 1 fortress and get a running start to easily get past the first few Pootaboos. There's a power-up in that question mark box if you need it, but none of the power-ups we can get at the beginning of the game can kill the Roto Discs or the Pootaboos that emerge from the lava. Over here we can get a raccoon tail. That's going to be better in the next level, although the fireballs might be better for the boss. Wait here until the whole ceiling comes down to the bottom. If you're not waiting where that niche is carved out in the ceiling, you will take damage even if you're ducking. Over here we'll just wait at the end for the door to appear and then press up to enter. And this boss is called Boom Boom. To kill Boom Boom, you just need to hit him 3 times. You can't hit him when he's bent over and his spikes are showing, but you just want to get used to the rhythm that you need to use to defeat that guy. With that victory, we also scored over 80,000 points, so that spawns the card matching game. Let's go check it out. It may seem like there are a lot of possibilities for how the 18 cards can be dealt, but no matter how many times Toad shovels up the deck, there are actually only 8 possible patterns. Even if you don't have this chart in front of you while playing, you can improve your chances by remembering a couple easy tips. The 3 cards in the bottom right corner are always the same: mushroom, flower, star. The card in the upper right corner, as well as the 4th card in the top row, are never 1-ups or coins, so if you reveal one of these cards, you'll always be able to find a match for it in the bottom right. By knowing this, you'll never leave empty-handed. If you are using the chart, after getting your first 2 matches, reveal the 4th card in the middle row. This, plus the cards you've already revealed, will indicate which pattern you've been dealt. Now you can match all the cards for 6 items, 30 coins, and a 1-up. This is a great way to stock up. Just remember that your inventory can only hold 28 items. Now that we're well stocked up, let's head over to level 1-5. At the beginning here, if you just hold down, you can slide through all of the buzzy beetles that are on the hill, but be careful. If there's one on the flat part at the bottom, it could definitely hit you. Make your way over to this area and you can see there's a few red stars, and if you hit that spot with your head, you'll find a magic note block that'll take you up to Coin Heaven. And this is the same Coin Heaven that we were in level 1-3. So you know that if you fly up in the middle, there's that hidden 1-up surrounded by coins. So try to collect as many coins as you can as the screen scrolls, and then make your way down the pipe, which will put you out near the end of the level. If you need a power up, you can head over here to the left. This is a fire flower. You may like to keep your raccoon tail, but the fire flower is pretty good for finishing this one. There's going to be one of those Venus fire traps right there that's good to shoot with the fireballs. Make your way over to this pipe and go up inside it, and then run on over to the goal. Next up is 1-6, and it's probably the most difficult level in World 1, so if you're small, I recommend using a power-up. Once you get inside, we're going to hit this Koopa, and if you hold down the B button, you can pick up his shell, and then just kick it off the side, which will kill the one at the bottom. I would get this power up to transform into Raccoon Mario if you're in Fire Flower form. That's going to make this one a little bit easier. Use a Koopa shell or your tail to break out the bricks at the bottom, and then break the bricks surrounding this one up, and then hit it from the right side to make sure that it falls to the left so you can collect it. There's another coin over there, and if you get a good run starting at the lower part and going across that small gap, you should be able to fly across here. Just follow the coins to the end. But if you're uncomfortable with that, drop down onto that platform and just ride this lift. There is a Koopa Paratroopa in the air there that you'll have to watch out for, and make sure to jump when it gets to the end. Jump from this slow moving platform and then just get a running start and do a big jump off of this lift. The World 1 castle is next, and we didn't get 3 identical cards this time, so we only got a 1-up, but that's fine. Before we head to the castle, we'll step into Toad's house. Hopefully we'll get something better than a mushroom. And we got a fire flower. That's decent, although I think the super leaf is probably the best thing we can get there. And we'll have to go through this hammer brother. Just quickly run to the right, get underneath him, and jump and hit him from below. That'll get rid of him, and we'll get a Starman as our reward. As we enter the castle, we find that the king has been transformed into a golden retriever dog. Yeah, that's not so bad. We could hang out, go to the dog park together, sniff some butts. Well, the king didn't seem into that idea, so instead we're going to go to the Koopa airship and try to get the magic wand to transform him back. The airship scrolls slowly to the left, and it's our job to avoid the artillery. If you stand on top of the cannons, you can kill the cannonballs as they come out. But that's more of a novelty than anything. You mostly want to avoid the cannonballs and the bullet bills that are firing at you here. Try to stay close to that wooden post where the bullets are firing from. That'll make sure that they fly over your head. And watch out for this cannon that fires at a 45-degree angle and then at a 90-degree angle. Over here, wait for that bullet to fire and then quickly run to the right. And if you stay far on the right there, you should be able to avoid the cannonballs and then enter the pipe. Now if you have fireballs, I like to go over here to the left, and if you jump on the boss, the shots that you shoot while he's in his shell actually count as hits. So that's one way that you can defeat the boss here, and that's really the fancy way of fighting him. A more practical approach is going to be just try to jump on him 3 times and avoid him when he's in the shell. So jump, kind of get away, wait for him to pop back out, and then jump on him again. It's not that difficult to defeat the bosses in this game, and that's good because if you die on a boss, you have to repeat that entire level. There are no mid-level checkpoints in this game. With Larry Koopa defeated, peace returns to the grassland, and we're able to return the king to his human form. He's very happy to be back to his old self, probably because he wasn't getting the proper flea and tick medication. He also has a letter for us from the princess that contains a valuable P-Wing item. The princess warns us that there are ghosts in the next world, so we'll need to steel our nerves as we enter Desert Land. In the first level of World 2, we see a new enemy type. These micro Goombas are protecting themselves with bricks, so you won't be able to shoot them with fireballs. You'll have to stomp them or hit them from below. If you carefully jump on all of these enemies without touching the ground, you'll rack up a bunch of points. Keep that in mind if you're ever in the movie The Wizard. Grab this Starman and run to the right. You can find another power-up in that block, although if you don't already have a tail, you'll need to hit it with a Koopa shell. Down here, you can find yet another power-up, so if you needed a leaf, you should be able to grab one. Watch out for that fire snake as you grab the one up over here. If you get a good run going, we can fly up into the sky and break the bricks around this pipe. Inside, we'll find a P-switch, which will reveal a whopping 16 blue coins, because putting more coins in there would have just been crazy. Whenever we drop out of the pipe, we can get more coins inside of this purple structure. Watch out for the fire snake. You can kill those by swiping them with your tail. As we head to the right, we're going to reach the goal, but before we hit it, if we go down this pipe, we'll find another P-switch, and this one's just going to give us a handful of coins outside. So I think that the game designers just wanted to make sure that we understood how the P-switches work. Watch out for that micro Goomba as we hit the goal card, and then we'll be moving on. We made another 80,000 points, revealing the card matching game again. Remember that the bottom right corner is always Mushroom Flower Star, and the top right corner and 3 from the top right corner will be good matches for those 3 cards. Once you know which set you've been dealt, you can get the rest of the items, and then we can stop over in that spade bonus stage and try to win a few more extra lives. After that, we'll head here to World 2-2, the Desert Oasis. If you bump that block, you'll be able to get a power-up, and we're trying to get at least 30 coins in this level to reveal the White Mushroom House. We started out with 87 coins when we got in here, so we need to have 17 or more when we finish to get that White Mushroom House. To do it, you want to collect all of the loose coins first, then come back here, hit the P switch whenever the platform is slightly to the right, grab these coins, and then you want to jump, bounce off of the Koopa Paratroopa, and get the last few coins. You can miss 1 coin and still get the White Mushroom House here, but if you miss more than that, it won't appear. Don't feel too bad if you don't get this White Mushroom House. Unlike the awesome P-Wing that you get whenever you find a White Mushroom House in an odd-numbered world, in an even-numbered world, you just get the mediocre boat anchor item, which stops the Koopa airship from moving around on the map if you die. Next up is the World 2 Fortress. If you jump on these 3 dry bones enemies at the beginning and keep flapping your raccoon tail so that you never touch the ground, you can eventually rack up 1-ups, but that trick is a lot easier to do in World 1-2. Make your way up this pipe, This fortress contains the Mario series' first appearance of Thwomp enemies. Wait for it to drop down, and then run under as it slowly moves back upward. Grab this power up and then get a good run going to get under these Thwomps. When you enter the door, if you're facing that ghost, it won't chase you, but if you turn around, it will. You want to run under the first two set of spikes, but jump over the third set, and then run under the fourth one as it moves upward. After that, you'll find the door, and inside will face another Boom Boom. You want to jump on him, wait a second, jump on him again, wait a second, and then jump on him the third time. You want to get that rhythm down, because we're going to be fighting a lot of these Boom Boom enemies. Completing that fortress will unlock a door on the map, so now we can head down here to the lower left corner and go into this Toad's house. This Toad's house has the same selection as the ones that we saw in World 1, so hopefully we'll get something better than a super mushroom. And you'll see that it also opens up this pipe, which can just take us to another part of the map that we can already get to, but if you were to run out of lives and some of the levels would open up again, that would help you get around. Here in 2-3, if you don't already have a raccoon tail, you can grab this Koopa shell, bring it up to the top, and throw it at the box on the right to reveal a power-up. Make your way over here. There's 2 fire snakes to avoid, but in this box you'll find a Starman, and that will easily get you through the next part. If you head up to the top here, you'll be able to find another power-up, so make sure you're all powered up before you move on. With the exception of the airship, there are no fire flowers in all of World 2, so if you're big and you hit a power-up box, expect to find a leaf. Over here you'll be able to find a magic note block that appears out of mid-air whenever you hit the right spot, and you can take it up to this where you'll find some coins, and if you keep making more mysterious coin blocks appear to the left, you can find a P switch, and there are just a ton of coins below to grab after hitting that P switch. There's also a 1-up hidden amongst the coins, and you'll know which block it is because you won't be able to collect it as a coin. From here we just need to head to the right, and there's a structure of bricks that protects the pipe that leads to the goal. Wait here for those micro Goombas to jump, and then you just want to get a Koopa shell going and it will clear the way to the pipe. Most of the bricks here can be hit for coins, so once that Koopa shell gets out of the way, you can try to whack a few of them with your tail, even this one up on the top. So collect as many coins as you want, and that one brick that's hanging out near the pipe, that's a 10 coin block. So you'll need to carefully stop the Koopa shell if you want to grab that. It's probably not worth it. You can just kick that shell to get rid of it once it's been stopped. But if you want to grab a few extra coins, well, that's a way that you can do it. Once you're satisfied with your coin collection, head down the pipe, and that will take us to the goal. The next level is one of the most memorable ones in the game. It's the desert where we'll need to face the angry sun. At the beginning, there's a lot of quicksand. If you linger too long in the quicksand, you will die. But you can do a neat airwalk if you get a running start and jump and just kind of walk off of the edge of the quicksand. If you get a good run, you should be able to jump up and through that whirlwind. So that's how you get past that. And then I recommend just holding a Koopa shell, wait for the angry sun to swoop down at you, and just launch it to clear it out of the way. Once the sun is defeated, you should be able to easily make your way to the end. That's really all there is to it. After clearing the desert, we're going to have an option of which level to play next. But before that, it looks like it's time to fight a wandering hammer brother. Here in World 2, we're fighting the Boomerang Brothers, so just wait for them to throw 2 boomerangs and jump up onto the platform as the second one is heading back towards the enemy. This guy had the music box item, which is not as exciting as the hammer. We don't need the hammer to get the warp whistle since we're not warping through the game this time, but we will be using it to access some exclusive Toad houses. I like World 2-4 because it's just like a festival of coins. Take out this Paragoomba at the beginning, and then if you jump on the Koopa on the right post and kick it to the left, you'll be able to reveal that power-up. It's going to be another super leaf, but even if it's a mushroom, you do have time to collect it. Get a good running start so that your P meter fills up, and then fly to the upper level here, where you want to collect these coins, and then go down into the water where you want to hit the third brick from the right. Well, from the center anyway. That one's going to reveal the P switch, and that will get us a few more coins, but that's not all the coins up here. Oh no, there's even more. So head down here to the right where we'll be able to collect these. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of coins on top of this row of bricks. But that row of bricks is also filled with coins, so you want to get a good running start going, and if you just fly up underneath, you can actually hit all those coins very quickly. So that's an easy way to collect those. And over here there's another P switch so that we can collect even more coins. So this is why I'm not sure why they were holding back in World 2-1. There's so many coins in here. Once you've collected enough coins, you can head down those note blocks, and that's going to bring you to the end of the world. However, if you want to go back and maybe collect a few more coins, well, you can do that as well. There's a whole bunch just hanging out right here. I don't recommend going too far back though, or you'll have to fight a bunch of enemies. Watch out for the boomerang brother at the end. Grab the card and head on back to the map. We made another 80,000 points, so here's the card matching game again. It's getting to the point where we're starting to have too many items in our inventory. If you have a completely filled inventory with 28 items and you collect a 29th item, that item will overwrite the last item in your inventory. So it may be a good idea to not get all of the items from the cards this time, and make sure that you are using the items that you have. You will run out of space if you don't. Over here is the hammer brother that we were looking for. This one should have that hammer item that we need. We're not going to use it in this world, although if you really want to get a frog suit, you could break through that rock to the right and grab one, but I recommend that you save it for later. The pyramid is the last level that we need to complete before we can get access to the castle, and inside you'll find a power-up box at the beginning that contains a super leaf. You definitely want a raccoon tail in this level, or you'll need to use buzzy beetle shells to break through the bricks. Take the middle path here, the other ones are dead ends, and if you get a little bit of a running start, you can press down to slide under a narrow gap. It's probably easier to just use a raccoon tail to break through those walls, and if you reveal a hidden coin, you can go up to this pipe, which will bring you to a bonus room. Try not to break too many of the bricks in here because that one at the bottom contains a P switch which will transform them into coins. Whenever we exit this bonus room, it's going to take us back to a different pipe than the one that we entered from, so that's going to be a little bit of a shortcut too. So we're going to head over into that pipe, and be careful as you head to the right here. There's a buzzy beetle that will drop off of the ceiling. Wait for him to drop and then jump over. If you need to use a beetle shell to break through this wall, carry one over here, otherwise just use your tail, and then head over to the right. This pipe will lead you outside. There is an enemy out here, so watch out for him, and then hit the card. It looks like we got the 3 stars again, and we're going to grab another 5 extra lives. From here we could go to the castle, but we haven't done World 2-5 yet, so we'll stop over at that bonus stage, and I would recommend using a star as you enter 2-5 so you can kill that first chain chomp, which will allow you to collect a power-up and just make the beginning a little bit easier. Over here you can grab another power-up, and that should make it pretty easy to get to raccoon form. Watch out for the Goombas and head over here to the right, where you'll want to use a Koopa shell and kind of knock it down into the bottom there. That's going to open up a vine, and when you climb it to the top, we're going to get a bunch of coins, and it's also going to lead us to a pipe, which will take us to another bonus room. So head over to the left and enter the pipe. And here's that bonus room. This reminds me of a lot of the bonus rooms from Super Mario Bros. 1. Of course, there were no P switches in the original Super Mario Bros., but do your best to break as few bricks as possible before hitting the switch so that you can collect the maximum number of coins. and this box over on the right side contains a power-up. The bonus room will put you out up here where you can find yet another power-up, and then you can just float on down to the bottom where you'll reach the goal card. Watch out though, there's a chain chomp waiting for you down there. Did you know if you wait 160 seconds with a chain chomp on the screen, eventually it will start flashing and then break off of its chain and come at you? Yeah, pretty crazy. Well, that's it for World 2 except for the castle, and when we get inside, the king has been transformed into a spider. Yeah, that is brutal. Being a dog wouldn't be so bad, but there is no way I would want to be a giant spider. Let's find that wand right away. This airship is not too different from the one in the first world. I like to wait up here on the left until the second cannon comes onto screen and then do a big running jump and land on top of it. Hop up to this position and wait for it to scroll almost completely over to the left before heading over to the right and dropping down on top of this cannon. Once everything starts scrolling downwards, you want to jump here, but be ready to jump over a few more bullets and wait for that bottom cannon to fire before dropping down there. In this box, you'll find the only fire flower in all of World 2, and then you want to wait on top of this box until the 3 bullets are fired, and then drop down and follow behind them. Quickly climb up these boxes and wait here on the left. We're going to have to fight some rocky wrench enemies, and these ones are the beige variety, so they will continuously respawn. Once you make it over here to the right, you'll find the pipe that leads to Koopa's cabin, and inside it's time to fight Morton Koopa Jr. The contours of this room make this boss a little bit more difficult than the first one, so I recommend just trying to stomp on him 3 times instead of fighting him with the fireballs. Now, if you can get here with the frog suit, it's difficult to do, but it's possible. If you can defeat the boss without getting hit and still have the frog suit whenever you change the king back into a human, he'll have a special message for you. You can do this in any world, but this is the easiest ship to do the frog suit on. It's very difficult to beat some of the other ships with the frog suit, and a few of them it may even be impossible. There are also special messages that you can get by reaching the king wearing the Tanuki or Hammer Brothers suits, but we don't have those suits just yet, and the frog suit is the most difficult one to do. The king offers to change us back with his wand. And then we'll get a message from the princess. Now, if you're playing a very early version of the game, this letter would be a little bit different and refer to it as Kuribo's shoe instead of Goomba's shoe. Kuribo is just what they call the Goombas in the Japanese version. And that brings us to World 3, Oceanside. 3-1 is a traditional swimming level, and if you head down the left side at the beginning, you'll find a hidden power-up. This one's a fire flower, and those fireballs are going to be very handy against the bloopers that you'll see here. So take out that blooper, and when you get to this pipe, you just want to jump out of the water and leap over it. Not only is this a shortcut, but you'll also find a hidden power-up. If you need another power-up for some reason, you can come down here, but be careful that when you bump that box, it doesn't push you into that lava lotus. You probably won't need that power-up anyway. Instead, you want to head over this way, and if you drop down here, this is another hidden area. Stay at the top, and that will make it easier to avoid the lava lotus at the bottom. And over here, you'll find a hidden cache of coins, and in the middle, that's a 1-up. I like to get the coins first, and then hit the 1-up from the right side so that it goes to the left, and it'll bounce over to the right. That'll make it easier to grab, and then you can just head up this pipe and that'll take you to the goal. You might think that an ocean-themed world is going to have a lot of swimming levels like that, but it really doesn't. Instead, you're going to find a lot of platforming. Like here in 3-2. Certainly there's water in this level, but this is a platforming experience for sure. Hit this Starman and try to get it at the last second. Here's why. If you can hit this question mark box while you're still invincible, you'll get another Starman, And if you can hold that star until you hit this box, you'll be able to get a third one, and that third star man will bring you mostly to the end of this level. If you're not still invincible when you hit those boxes, you'll just get a coin, and over here there's a P switch you can hit which will make getting this one up a lot easier. And if you need it, there's a power up down here in the bottom, but it's kinda tricky to get without getting hit by a Cheep Cheep. So if you don't need it, I don't recommend grabbing it. And that brings us to the goal. However, there is something hidden above the pipe that we just exited out of. There's a moving platform up there and some coins, but you're going to need a raccoon tail to actually get up there. There is no super leaf in 3-2, so you'd have to bring one from the map screen. And if you did that, here's what you'd find. It's just a moving platform, and there is a 1-up over here on the left side. So if you make it here with a raccoon tail, you can take advantage of that, but that's all that's really there. After completing 3-2, you'll be able to enter this Toad's house, which always gives out a frog suit. The frog suit is a hindrance when you're on land, but there are several bonus areas that you will only be able to access if you have the frog suit, so make sure to pick it up. Here in 3-3, we'll meet the very dangerous Boss Bass. He can kill you in a single hit no matter how big you are, so take him seriously. Don't hit that note block right away. Instead, break open this P and slide under it so that you can hit it from below. It contains a fire flower, but that note block likes to drop the fire flower out of the bottom of the block, which will make it hard to collect if you try to do it a different way. Over here, you'll be able to collect another power-up. Boss Bass respawns pretty quickly after you kill him, but the few seconds that he's off the screen are priceless. This P block will create a bridge, which is a lot easier to cross than the smaller platforms that were there before you turned the coins into bricks. If you really want to go for it, you can head over here to the right where you'll find a 1-up, but it's pretty risky. You should probably just go down the pipe to the goal instead. And that's the end of 3-3. That's a tough one, but it's not the last time that we'll see Boss Bass. There are 2 fortresses in World 3, and the first one is pretty easy. To beat it, you just have to remember the number 6. It's the 6th door that contains the boss. Now, there are a couple other doors that you might be interested in, like door number 5. We'll go in there first. So that's 3, past the thwomp. The first one is door number 4. And that's door 5. Inside there's a 1-up. Make sure to hit it from the left side of the box so that it rolls to the right. And if you go all the way to the end, there's a treasure room with a bunch of coins. So you can hit these invisible blocks to create a solid platform. And then there's a few more that will help get you up to the top, and then you can just grab all of these coins and head back out. Most of the doors that you enter here will take you into the water. If you end up in the water, you can collect a power-up or 2, so that's convenient. And then you just need to exit through one of the pipes, which will take you back to the beginning. This time we're actually going to go into the 6th door, which will take us to the boss. So 1, 2, 3, wait for the thwomp, and we can manage these ghosts by moving back and forth. And here it is, door number 6, and then you just jump up to the left, and that's where Boom Boom is. We're gonna fight him like we always do. 1, 2, and 3. Now there is a trick you can do here in this fortress. Remember we went through door number 6? Well, door number 3 also kinda works if you rapidly hit up after you go in it, so you have to do it really fast. It's not easy to do. Door number 4 also works. It'll take you to the door right before Boom Boom. So that's kind of a fun trick to do, but it's probably easier to just go into door number 6. And we've turned a Hammer Brother into a treasure ship. To turn a Hammer Brother into a treasure ship, you need to finish a level when you have a number of coins that's a multiple of 11. So like 11, 22, 33. We had 33 at the end of that level. And then your number of points in the tens position needs to be that same number. So that's the second digit from the right in your score. That needed to also be a 3. Then you have to stop the timer on an even number, and that will do it. You'll notice that the coins have a strange animation here. They're not spinning, they're just flashing, which looks very odd. I wonder if the programmers noticed that the full animation was slowing the game down. There's also a hidden one-up here right before the pipe, and down in the bottom you'll fight 2 Boomerang Brothers, but you will get whatever prize you were supposed to receive for defeating that Hammer Brother. You can only do this trick in worlds 1, 3, 5, and 6. You'll notice that this Hammer Brother is on a water space, which will make him a little bit more difficult to fight. The water will hinder your movement, so I recommend using a Starman if you have to fight a Hammer Brother on a water space. After that, we can head over and try out this bonus stage. There's another bonus stage down at the bottom, but don't waste your hammer down there. Instead, if you use a frog suit here in World 3-5, we'll be able to get into a bonus pipe that you normally wouldn't be able to swim into. You can see that the frog suit makes you swim faster, but it's these pipes that have bubbles coming out of them that the frog suit is particularly useful against. Stay low here so you don't get hit by an enemy, and carefully make your way to the right where you'll find another one of those pipes that has bubbles coming out of it, but you'll be able to go in there if you're in a frog suit. Once you're inside the pipe, hold to the right so that you can get to this treasure box that contains 3 one-ups, but that's not the last one-up in 3-5. There's another one over here to the left near this pipe that has a current coming out of it. Carefully swim around these enemies, be patient and wait for that blooper, and then dip down and around. That enemy is Boss Bass's cousin, Big Bertha. She won't kill you in a single hit, but she does spit smaller fish out of her mouth. And that's it for World 3-5. Beyond here, we'll be able to take to the seas in a canoe. Over here is one of the best places in the entire game to use a hammer. Once you get onto this canoe, you'll be able to get 3 Toad's houses and 2 spade bonus stages. Pretty awesome. These Toad's houses are above average as well. There's no mushrooms in here. You can get a super leaf, a flower, or a frog suit. So all good options. We'll hit the second Toad's house and see what we get. We got a frog suit out of the first one, pretty good. And we get a leaf out of the second one. Certainly worthwhile so far. And then we can hit up these spade bonus stages while we're here. We'll get rid of the boat anchor so that we can make some room in our inventory for better items. And we'll pick up a few extra lives. So a nice little 2-up, not bad. And then we'll go do the other bonus stage. But that's not all. There's still one more Toad's house over here on the right. It's on its own little island. And this is the same type of Toad's house as the other ones. So we will grab another item. This one's a fire flower. So we got one of each item out of those Toad's houses. You can go over to the right where you'll see the castle. And the area of land that the castle's on is actually shaped like the country of Japan. Speaking of Japan, if you get on the canoe in the Japanese Famicom version, you'll find the same type of items here, but if you use a warp whistle while you're in the canoe in the Japanese version, you'll be able to do something pretty interesting in the warp zone. Nintendo fixed this for the later releases, but if you warp while in the canoe, you can walk around freely on the map screen, and you can even go over to the right, which does this. Now, you'll get stuck here, so I don't recommend actually doing this, but it's still pretty interesting nonetheless. Once you're done canoeing around in the deep sea, which sounds pretty insane now that I say it out loud, we can head over to World 3-6, which is a very tricky platforming level. If you have a raccoon tail, I don't recommend picking up that fire flower, and you want to wait for that rotating platform to stop before you jump onto it, but you need to get off of it quickly. If you kick a Koopa shell down to the bottom, it'll pick up a bunch of coins for you, and you can use this ice block to kill the enemy at the bottom and get another power-up. Be careful though, you can't hold those ice blocks forever, eventually it'll disappear in your hands. Wait patiently here for the screen to scroll to the left, and then jump to the right when you see a lot of the platform is on the screen. Wait here again and then jump down to the bottom. You can use one of these ice blocks to reveal a P, and then you'll be able to easily collect this 1-up as well as a bunch of coins. That will bring you to the goal pipe, but they put this difficult platform right before it. You can jump right as the platform stops moving, and then quickly jump off of it and curve your jump around to get down to the pipe. That's kind of a mean way to end the level. And that's the end of 3-6. Right below 3-6 on the map is a bridge that opens and closes whenever you either lose a life or complete a level. And right now you can't go across the bridge, so we're going to have to take the long way around for the moment. But the path is open to this Toad's house, so we'll hit that up. And we might as well go down to this card matching game, although we're running out of inventory space, so we should probably start burning some items. I'm going to use a Starman here, not because I think that we need a Starman in World 3-7, but I just want to get it out of my inventory. The reason why it's important that we make space in our inventory is that we'll actually be able to earn an item into our inventory here in World 3-7, which is not very typical in this game. To do it, we want to head over here where we're going to be able to find a vine. So hit these boxes. Most of them have coins, but this one over here on the left, that's going to make a vine grow. And up at the top, if we head to the left, we'll be able to collect some coins, and there's also a P-switch. This P-switch would allow you to get a few coins down below, but we busted most of those up trying to collect a 1-up earlier. Instead, what we want to do is jump over here to the right where we can find a hidden red note block, which will take us to a very special edition of Coin Heaven. It looks like the same Coin Heaven that we've been to before, but the end is very different. Instead of there being a green pipe, there's this cloud platform, and inside there's a treasure box with a Jugum's cloud. Pretty sweet. We can cross the bridge now, so we'll head over here to World 3-8, which is one of the most difficult levels in the game. Boss Bass is back, and this time the water goes all the way up over the platforms, so you need to hit these vines if you want to climb up and stay alive. If you're down in the water, Boss Bass will probably be able to get you, so try to get to the higher platforms or use the vines for safety. Kill Boss Bass whenever possible. Now, if you can collect 44 coins here, which is not easy to do with Boss Bass swimming around, you'll be able to get a white mushroom house, and it may be worth the risk because this is an odd-numbered world, so we'll be able to find a P-wing in that white mushroom house. If you're going for the white mushroom house, don't forget the 10 coin block at the beginning of the level. Make sure to get all the coins around the vines, and then you'll have to take this dangerous lower path. The top path is much safer for avoiding Boss Bass. You can see that down here you'll be put into the water, but you need to make sure that you hit that P switch in time to grab the last few coins, and then if you wait for a moment right here, you can grab a 1-up as well. Once you get out of here, if you got the 44 coins, you'll be able to get that white mushroom house, but it may be more important to just focus on survival. And that's the last time we'll have to deal with Boss Bass in this game. The designers probably could have made some really mean late game levels featuring him, but lucky for us, they didn't. 3-9 is a level that is filled with tricks to perform. This one is fun. There's one of those white blocks, so we will be using that, but the first trick you might want to try is to kick a Koopa shell down here between those two bullet bill launchers. Then you can just wait here as the shell bounces back and forth. It'll start racking up points, and eventually, those points will turn into 1-ups. And yeah, you can get a ton of 1-ups using this method. This is one of the easier ones in the game. So just hang out here until you feel like you have a sufficient number of extra lives. If you want to get a power-up, there is a super leaf located over here on the left side, but that's not the only trick you can do in this one. If you crouch down on top of this white block and then quickly head over here to the right, you can go down this pipe, which will take you into the water, but you'll still be behind the background because of the white block, which makes Mario invisible. Mario's not 100% invisible. You can still see the bubbles from where he's breathing, and if you pass by an enemy, which won't damage you by the way, well, you'll be able to see Mario's silhouette. If you head over to this pipe on the left, inside you'll find a bonus room, and inside that large question mark box is a free frog suit. Pretty sweet. Once you head out this pipe, you want to carefully swim to the right. You don't want to lose your frog suit right away. And if you go up this pipe, that'll take you back to the land side. This is not where you need to go to exit the level. You need to go farther to the right, but if you want to be able to grab a quick one up, well, there's one over here in this box. So we'll pick that up and then we'll head back down into the water where the frog suit belongs, and do a little swim over to the right. So avoid those fish, and this is the pipe that will take you to the goal. And that's it. That's the final level in World 3, but there's a few levels that we skipped, so we'll go back and do those ones before we head to the castle. It would also be a bad idea to leave this world without collecting the P-Wing from this white mushroom house. So we'll grab that, and then we'll head over to the flooded fortress. We're already in frog suit mode, so that might be good for this fortress. We'll use a Starman because it's taking up space in our inventory, and we'll head down this pipe. There's some enemies here that we want to avoid, like that Roto Disc, and although we have a very good item for swimming, the fireballs might just be better here. It seems like it wouldn't have been unfair for the frog suit to have some kind of projectile weapon while you're in the water. Watch out for this enemy called Stretch. He appears on the bottom of these white platforms and moves from left to right. He'll disappear for a moment and that'll give you an opportunity to swim past. Down here we'll fight Boom Boom again. He's not under the water, so that'll make him pretty easy, and with the fireballs you can just stand a few inches away from him and just blast him until he dies. The last level that we haven't completed here in World 3 is 3-4, and it's the game's first Lakitu level. So we're going to make our way to the right, duck under this Venus fire trap, and there's a power-up here in the box if you need it. You can slide down this hill to take out the Goombas by just holding down, and you'll also get a nice boost to your jump at the end. There is a coin box in the water to help you get out and over the edge of that hill. Over here you can kick a Koopa shell to take out those enemies, and if you just walk off the screen, that Koopa shell will go away, so keep that in mind if there's ever a shell that's in your way. Over here, if you hit this P switch, there's a bunch of blue coins that will appear, so try to collect as many of those as you can, and then make your way to the right. Now over here, if you get Lakitu to spawn and then head back to the left, there's a trick that we can do to get a bunch of extra lives. So we'll kill them again, and then we want to grab one of these Koopa shells and bring it back to the right. We're going to drop it right here and wait in this position. Sometimes I'll still get hit by Lakitu when I'm doing this, but if you're in the right spot, you should be safe. He'll start dropping his spiny eggs down there, and the shell will start hitting them, and just like with the bullet bills in World 3-9, eventually this is going to start turning into 1-ups. It's a lot slower and a lot riskier than the method in World 3-9 though, so I don't really recommend this one quite as much. Come on, anytime now, Lakitu. Alright, 8,000 points, and the next one should be a 1-up. There we go. So from here on in, any of the eggs that would be hit will be 1-ups. So you can see how that works. and then you just want to take out Lakitu, take him out again on top of those boxes. There's a 1-up in the second one from the left, and then kill him one more time before you try to quickly run to the right. He respawns very quickly, but you will buy yourself a few seconds by killing him. And that's World 3-4. From here, we can head to the castle. We'll get a 1-up and another card matching game. I think we have enough items. So we're just going to head down here and go through this pipe. This is the one that's going to take us to the end. And there's the castle. This time the king has been transformed into, it kind of looks like one of the Boomerang brothers, but shorter. Whew, yeah, we gotta find the magic wand so that we can change him back. This airship, like all the others, is a slow-moving auto-scroller. I like to wait up here until it starts to scroll downwards. Then we won't have to fight with these rocky wrenches for very long, and those are the type of rocky wrench that continuously respawn. So you want to get to higher ground to avoid those wrenches, and wait for those cannons to fire before you jump down and around. There's a power-up that you can grab here. It's not too difficult to get. And over here, you can pass through the middle of those cannons, or you can try to jump up on top of them by vaulting off of a cannonball. This is a new type of platform called a bolt lift. You need to continuously jump on it, and it'll keep moving to the right. If you stand on it for too long though, you'll fall through, so you need to keep jumping whenever you see those. You can go over the top here, which is probably the recommended way to go. And over on the right, we'll see the pipe that leads to Wendy Koopa. Wendy won't try to blast you with her wand like the previous two bosses did. Instead, she launches these peppermint rings that bounce around the room, and at the end of the fight there will be 3 of them bouncing around. So you want to try to take her out as quickly as you can. Luckily the ground is flat here, which makes it a little bit easier. Now if you have fireballs, just stay away from her and keep hitting her with the fire. She'll never launch a second peppermint ring, which will make her a lot easier to beat. So fireballs are pretty good against this boss, but there is not a fire flower on this airship, so you'd have to bring it in from outside. With the magic wand back in our possession, peace has returned to Oceanside. That was one of the more difficult worlds in the game. The next one is Big Island, and this is one of the more fun worlds in the game, so that's going to be a nice change of pace. For completing such a difficult world, the princess gives us a music box. Weak. She also gives us an interesting clue about the white block containing magical powers. Here in World 4, you want to take the pipe on the right. The one at the bottom of the screen at the beginning will lead you to a dead end. Everything's bigger here in Giant Land, but don't be intimidated by the enemy's size. You can still handle them in the same way that you always have. Stomp on Koopa Troopas and then kick their shells, or even pick their shells up and you can smash them into a wall to permanently remove them. That's a good thing to do right here so that you can get a long enough runway to fly up to this waterfall where you'll defy the laws of physics and swim up the falls, and over here on the left you can find a bonus room. Just because it's a bonus room doesn't mean that it's safe. There are 2 very dangerous Big Berthas swimming in here, so you want to watch out for them as you try to collect the 2 hidden 1-ups. The Big Bertha on the right will only swim about midway to the left, so right to there, and make sure that you collect the first 1-up before you reveal the second one, or the initial 1-up will disappear. Make your way up this pipe, and if you head over here, you can actually get a good running start and jump and flap your raccoon tail and go over to the right to get to the goal, but if you need another power-up, you can drop down here to the left. Over here, there are several red Koopa Troopas. It's possible to keep bouncing on them until you get 1-ups, but that's one of the most difficult spots in the game where you can do that. Just make your way over here to the right, and this pipe will lead you to the goal. Before we head to World 4-2, there's a Toad's house over to the left that we can only access by using a hammer. This Toad's house will always give you a Tanuki suit, and up until this point we haven't been able to find any Tanuki suits. It's one of the better power-ups in the game, so it may be a worthy use of one of your hammers. The Tanuki suit is very similar to the raccoon form, except that it allows you to transform into a statue, which is very powerful. Here in 4-2, we used a Starman to get it out of our inventory, and it is pretty useful at the beginning of this level. If we can collect 22 or more coins here, we can make a white mushroom house appear, so we're going to need to be very careful with this P-switch to make that happen. I like to get this Starman and then run over and collect those sets of coins. If you don't do that, there'll be bricks whenever you switch them over, and then they'll get in your way. So you want to collect those, make sure you get all the ones in that row on the left, and then quickly head over to the right to get those last 3 coins. If you did it, you'll be able to get the white mushroom house, but it's not going to be a P-wing, it's going to be the boat anchor. I'm not going to say that the boat anchor is completely useless. If you run out of lives and you use a continue, a lot of the levels that you've already completed would open back up, and that would give the Koopa airship some places where it could hide, and you'd have to finish additional levels to be able to get back in there, which is pretty annoying. But it is taking up valuable inventory space, so usually whenever I get the boat anchor item, I just use it right away. This Toad's house is not handing out Tanuki suits like the other one, but it's still worth stopping in here to get a standard item. After we're finished up here, we're going to head over to 4-3, and this is the first appearance of a new type of hammer brother, the Sledge Brothers. It may actually be a good idea to use a Starman at the beginning of this one so you don't have to deal with the Sledge Brothers. Otherwise, you want to wait until they jump and then jump on them just as they're about to land. You don't want to be standing on the ground when they land or they'll stun you and you may get hit by one of their hammers. The enemies inside here are normal size, but the platforming is tricky. You'll want to wait for enemies that are crawling across the ceiling to drop so that you can jump over them before moving forward. Try to get a good running start here and fly up to the top where you'll find a whole bunch of coins, and this is a little bit of a shortcut. Over here you want to clear this Buzzy Beetle. Watch out, if you kick a shell to the right it will come ricocheting back at you, and then if you hit this one up, it'll start moving to the right, and you can just walk with it and collect it over here when it drops down. Be careful when you jump to this platform, those 2 wooden blocks in the middle will bounce you if you touch them, and that could knock you off the platform. Try to avoid them. And up here is the goal, and we got another 5 lives. That's going to bring our total up to 91. We're almost to the maximum of 99 lives. I think we're going to have enough lives. And we have enough items too, so we don't really need that card matching game. The next level is the first of 2 fortresses, and this enemy called a Hotfoot works a lot like the Boo Diddly ghosts. Whenever you're looking at it, it won't move towards you, but when your back is turned, it'll give chase. If you go down this middle pipe, this is the easier path to take. There's only a few enemies down here, and there's also a power-up. So we can grab this fire flower if we want it, and then there's a few invisible blocks that will lead us up and out. So I certainly recommend taking this path, and that's going to lead us out near the end. However, if you want to head back over to the left, there is another power-up here, so if you need a raccoon tail, or if you were small or just Super Mario, it might be worth heading over there to grab another power. And here we'll face yet another Boom Boom. If you're having trouble with this guy and you have the raccoon tail, you can try jumping on him and then jump really high above him and just start flapping your tail until he breaks out of that crouch down spiky back position. That's another strategy you might want to try. World 4-4 is a swimming level. This is Giant Land and the background is all giant sized, but the enemies are normal sized. Over here you can find a fire flower, and if you just drift off of that box and head over to the left, you can get past that pipe that's pushing a current out of it and enter this bonus room. Normally you would need a frog suit to get past that sort of pipe, but with that technique it is possible here in World 4-4. That P-switch will reveal a bunch of blue coins, and over here we'll find another P-switch so that we can turn the bricks above into coins. So collect as many coins as you want, and whenever this P-switch wears off, these bricks will turn back into coins so we can collect them as well. And then we're just going to head up into this black pipe on the right. When we get out of here, Lakitu is going to be waiting to start dropping spiny eggs on us, so we're going to want to hightail it to the right. And here come those spiny eggs. Stay down here at the bottom, that'll make it a little bit easier to avoid them. If you're up at the top of the screen, you may get surprised when he drops a spiny egg right on your face. Carefully go under there, and just keep on swimming, and that will bring you over here to the goal pipe. Now there is another trick that you can do in this level. If you're Raccoon Mario, you can actually bounce off of Lakitu here at the beginning. Don't go too far to the right or Lakitu will go away. And you can come up over here to the right, just flap your tail, and that will take you most of the way through the level. So that is a pretty good shortcut, although it may actually just be better to go to the room with all the coins instead. So if you want to take this path, just quickly swim to the right, and once again we'll be at the goal pipe. So that's two different ways that you can finish that level. Now at this point we just have way too many mushrooms in our inventory, so I'm just going to burn through those. We need to make room because we're going to be getting some better items, and we could potentially get a good item in this Toad's house, and we wouldn't want it to overwrite one of our other items. This fire flower that we just got is going to be particularly useful because there are a lot of Hammer Brothers on the map, and these Sludge Brothers are very weak to the fireballs. As soon as they pop up on the screen, just start spitting fire and they will die immediately. And here's another one. Gotcha. So really it's that easy. You don't have to worry about these guys at all if you have a fire flower active. And there is a third one. Let's see if we can chase him down. Yeah. Alright, Sledge Brother. The last of your kind. And that's all the Hammer Brothers. This one had a valuable P-Wing, so it is important to try to clear all of those. And then we'll head here into 4-6. You have the option to go to worlds 4-5 or 4-6, but 4-6 offers one of the most unique experiences in the game, and it guards a potentially valuable Toad's house, so I recommend going this way. That door below is a magic door that will change the size of the enemies, and it'll also change around some of the power-ups. Now that we're on the regular size side, we want to clear this enemy and then use this area as a runway to fly up into the clouds. So hold down the B button, go back and forth to charge up the P meter, and whenever it's flashing, jump and start mashing the A button to fly. There's a 1-up that you can find up here, and then we can head down to the bottom where we'll find a Starman. So if you grab that star, we can use it to get some invincibility, and then we can find yet another 1-up between these two pipes. You want to hit it before you get those other coins so it doesn't drift to a place that you don't want it to. And then you could use the other magic door at the end, but I think it's a little bit easier to face the enemies that are normal size instead of the giant ones. But it's your choice. Big or small, you'll find the goal at the end. Even if you're planning on finishing all of the levels in every world, I recommend doing 4-6 before you do 4-5. 4-5 has a hidden room in it that will give you a Tanuki suit, so I like doing that one right before going to the castle. There are two paths through this next fortress. One of them leads to a bonus room filled with 1-ups and coins, and the other one is very fast, so they're both good options. Don't linger too long on these donut platforms or they'll drop out from under you, and make sure that you're running here so that you get enough momentum to clear those jumps. Take out these dry bones enemies when you're outside of these narrow hallways, although you will have to deal with that one in a tight space. Reveal that P-switch, and then get a little bit of extra lift by jumping off of an enemy to get up on top of it. The Ring of Coins reveals a hidden room. This is the path that leads to the 1-ups and the coins, and over here we'll find an exclamation block, and that creates a platform that changes directions when you jump on it. So that's kind of interesting. This one with the up arrow will only go up, and if you bump your head while you're riding on one of those platforms, the platform will disappear. There's a power-up that we can grab here, and if you go down this pipe, it'll wrap you around to the left. Something about this piece feels like it should be in World 7, and it seems very out of place here in World 4. But that's just what it is. Ride this directional lift over here to the left, and then jump on it again to get it moving upwards. Jump on it to make it move to the right, and then jump on it again to ride it up to this exit pipe. As we're dropping, you may catch a glance of a brick that's up in the sky, and there are a few hidden coin blocks that can get us up there. So hit that one and then step over here to the left, and that will get you the first one up. But down here we're going to find 3 more inside of this question mark block. Is it weird that the game can have 3 1-ups on the screen at one time, but you can't have 2 power-ups on the screen normally? If you had a raccoon tail, you could fly up to the left there to get a few more coins, but once you get the 1-ups, you can head up that pipe, and it's time to fight Boom Boom. If you have a fire flower, you can just stand up on that platform and rain down fire and brimstone on that guy. Now, what if we don't go in that room that the switch block showed us? Let's just head over here to the right. We'll go past that rotating disc and, well, yeah, there's the end. So by going into that hidden room, we certainly took a pretty serious detour, so if you don't care about getting those extra lives, you can just skip over that part. We could go to the castle now, but we're finishing all of the levels, so we'll head over here into World 4-5. In here, we're going to encounter another new enemy type. It's a bullet bill that instead of just flying in one direction, will change directions in mid-air and start flying the other way. You'll know it when you see it. It's that guy there, the flashing bullet bill. So you gotta watch out for those. Head over here to the right. Just do some big jumps and flap down with your raccoon tail. And if you bounce off of a bullet bill, you can make a vine grow and then bounce off of another one to reveal this hidden room. Up here, we're going to be able to grab a free Tanuki suit, which is quite awesome. And then after you hit that P block, you'll find a bunch of hidden blue coins whenever you come out of the room. Sweet. Try to keep that Tanuki suit as you head over to the right. If you press down and B, you'll turn into a statue, and the statue can't be damaged. Getting a free Tanuki suit is great, but that's not the only thing that we can do here in World 4-5. It's possible in the bonus room where you found the Tanuki suit to clip through the wall. And to do it, you want to get a running jump and jump while you're holding down. It's kind of tricky to do, and it's not like a very useful trick, but you'll find that there's an additional exit to this level on the other side of the wall, which is super weird. And all that leaves is the castle. There's a few more bonus stages that we can clean up, and this time the king has been turned into a dinosaur. I mean, that might actually be cool. I might want to stay a dinosaur if I was transformed into one. But we'll get the magic wand and try to change him back. The Tanuki suit that we just picked up in World 4-5 is extremely useful here in the World 4 airship. Normally you need to wait for these flamethrowers to stop burning and get out of your way, but by turning into a statue and landing on the fire, you can actually kill the flame and it won't come back. Even if you don't have a Tanuki suit, this airship isn't that difficult. There are 2 power-ups for you to find, and then there's these bolt lifts, which you can just keep jumping on to avoid most of the hazards. So yeah, there's a bunch of flamethrowers going on down below, but just keep bouncing on this bolt lift, and when it gets to about that spot, you can just take a big jump over to the right, and you'll avoid all of that. Now we'll just wait for a while for the screen to scroll, and if you're up here on the top, you'll be avoiding even more flamethrowers below. Watch out for this rocky wrench. You can duck and you should be able to avoid any wrench that he throws. So just wait until those are off the screen. And there's the first of those 2 power-ups. Over here you can just wait on top of this flamethrower. If you have the Tanuki suit, you can kill the fire, but if you just get over onto the right edge, it won't be able to reach you anyway. We're going to wait up here for a moment until most of the screen is scrolled over to the left, and then we'll quickly get past these flamethrowers. So we'll jump down on top of this one, drop below it, and then we can get past that one by just taking a big jump and landing past it. Now this is one of the most difficult parts. If you have the Tanuki suit though, you want to kill that flamethrower on the left, and that'll make the rest of this easy. Just wait until those ones stop going and jump up on through. There's a second power up here if you did get hit, but if you still have your Tanuki suit, you'll want to save that instead. So there it is, it's another Super Leaf, and we'll head down inside where we'll fight Iggy Koopa. Sometimes Iggy will do a double blast of his wand, so look out for that, but you're mostly just trying to hit him 3 times on the head, and then grab his magic wand. And with that, Giant Land is complete. Because we completed an airship while wearing the Tanuki suit, we're going to get another one of those special messages from the king. This time he says, "Thank you, kind raccoon. Please tell me your name." Yeah, that's pretty weird, and although he doesn't mention it, we still are going to get a letter from the princess, and this one includes a valuable P-Wing. She also gives us a nice clue about where the 3rd warp whistle is. And with that, we're off to Sky World. Sky World has 2 parts. We start out down here on the ground, but eventually we'll get up into the clouds. If you still have your Tanuki suit, your statue form can actually kill those chain chomps, and that will make it easy to clear a runway so we can fly up to this bonus pipe. Now there's another way that we can get rid of that chain chomp, but we're going to have to come back here anyway because we have a choice to make at this point. We can go down here into this pipe, and that's what I recommend you do first, because in here you'll be able to get up to 4 1-ups, but be careful that you don't spawn one while there's another one already on the screen. Down here you can get a good running start and fly up to the top, where if you hit this P switch, you'll be able to find a bunch of blue coins in the shape of the number 3. So there are several of those, and then we can fly out of here to the right. Now that's going to lead you to the goal if you just head down to the right, but there's something else that we can do here. First of all, if you didn't have the Tanuki suit, you can find a Starman in this box, and if you let the star bounce over here to the left, you can bring it all the way back to the beginning of the level and clear that first chain chomp with it. So that's another way that you can open up this runway. There are also several power-ups down here, so if you need a raccoon tail, it should be easy to find one. And then we're going to go back up into that sky pipe. This time we're going to go the other way. So just clear out these blocks to reveal a runway, run back and forth to build up P speed, and then fly back up into that pipe. And this time we're going to find a hidden item, and whenever we find that item, it's going to end the level, so that's why we went down to that other area with the 1-ups first. You just want to build up P speed down here. It's a small area, but you can easily do it. And then you need to crouch down before you take off, so that you can fly up into this small space. Once you get up in here, you can let go of down and you'll just walk over to the right, and that's where you'll find the treasure chest that contains a hidden music box. That's going to bring us to 5-2, and there are 2 very different paths we can take here. The upper path is preferable, so you want to drop right down onto that note block and then carefully make your way over to the right so that you can climb up these bricks, wait for those Koopa Troopas to drop down, kick them and get them out of the way, and then go up into this pipe. That will take you up here onto these icy slopes. There's not a lot of enemies up here, and there are some good rewards. Let's go down into this pipe. On the left side, we can find a fire flower, but I think the raccoon tail is going to be better here in Sky World, so we'll stick with that. The big question mark box contains 3 1-ups, and we have hit the 99 life maximum now. So any extra lives that we get at this point won't actually be counted, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop trying to get them. And that brings us to the end, but what if we had taken the lower path? Let's take a look at that. So if you drop out of the pipe, you can get a power up here and you may need to drop down to chase it. So this could be a viable path if you're small Mario, but this lower path is certainly more difficult than the upper one, and there's no big box containing 3 1-ups when you go down here. Instead, we'll have to fight some Buster Beetle enemies, and these guys will pick up those ice blocks and throw them at you. So you need to be pretty careful around them. Duck when you're right in front of one, and it will typically throw the ice block right over your head, so that's something you could do. Watch out for those Venus fire traps, and make your way to the right. Grab an ice block to protect yourself. Try to take out the Buster Beetles before they can hit you. If you hit them while they're holding a flashing ice block, they will die while they're still holding it. Quickly slide another ice block through another Buster Beetle, and then watch out for that last one before you hit the exit pipe. And that will bring you to the same goal that we saw before. I certainly recommend taking the upper path, but if you get stuck taking the lower one, it's not the worst. You definitely don't want to miss this Toad's house before you go down into the pipe. It will always give you a Tanuki suit, so that's pretty sweet. So hit that up and then go down into this transport pipe that will take you over to the island on the right. Over here we have the option of going to a fortress or going to 5-3. I certainly recommend 5-3. Not only is it easier, but we'll get to use a unique item here, the Karibo's shoe. Now if you flip over a spiny with your tail and pick it up, and then you hit this shoe enemy from below and collect the shoe, you'll turn Mario green until you let go of the spiny. So that's pretty cool. Over here we can grab a power-up, and then we'll make our way to the left. Karibo's shoe is an excellent item. Not only does it give you an extra hit, but it allows you to jump on things that would normally kill you. So we can head over here to the left. There's going to be a bunch of spinies for us to stomp on, and there was supposed to be a bomb. There it is. Normally when you stomp on bombs, they'll wait a second and then explode, but not when you hit them with the shoe. We can cross those munchers and grab a 1-up, and you can even jump on those Piranha Plants, which will kill them. Go down this pipe, and when we get to the bottom tier, we're just going to make our way to the right. Another great thing about Karibo's shoe, which we'll see here in a moment, if you get a fire flower, you can still spit fireballs. We'll find one in the middle box right here. And then if you jump and press the B button, you can spit them right out of the shoe somehow. And we'll just make our way over to the right. Sadly, whenever we hit the goal box, we'll lose Karibo's shoe. But you know what they say, if the shoe fits, wear it like an oversized pair of pants. Down here on the mainland, one of the Wandering Hammer Brothers has a valuable P-Wing item, so I'm going to burn a few fire flowers to make some extra room in our inventory. The other Hammer Brother has a Starman, which is less exciting, but once you've cleared one of the levels over here on this island, the other Hammer Brother won't be able to hide from you, so we did get the Starman, but we can easily chase down the other one that will definitely have the P-Wing. So we'll just run forward and shoot that first Hammer Brother and then take out the other one from behind, and there's the P-Wing. That's what we were looking for. At this point, you can just go into the tower if you want to head up into the sky. But if you want to play all of the levels, we could do the fortress down here, so we'll hit that up before we go up into the sky tower. Just past this thwomp is a row of bricks. Hit the first two, but leave that third one so you can use it as a stepping stone. Up here you'll find a raccoon tail power up, so grab that super leaf, and if you head back over here to the left, you'll be able to find enough runway to fly up there. So wait there, just start running, and once you have enough P speed, jump and start flying and you'll be able to reach this hidden pipe. There's a bunch of coins conspicuously pointing upwards here, and they're pointing at a 1-up. Next to that 1-up on the right side is another one, and there's a third 1-up on the left. So try to get all 3 of those and then head down the pipe. And when you emerge on the other side, we'll be pretty close to the end. Watch that boo diddly ghost so that it doesn't follow you, and get close to the platform so that you won't get hit by that disco ball, and then just wait for the thwomp to be going back up before you run under it. You can just quickly run past that thwomp and then hurry up and jump on the other side, and that's going to bring us to Boom Boom, who we will finish off with 3 quick stomps. And that's the first fortress in World 5. You can totally skip this one if you want to. Completing the fortress does build a bridge, which would be helpful if you ran out of lives and died. This tower is going to take us to the sky map, and when you're avoiding these roto discs, if you stand right in the middle of them, they'll fly harmlessly around you. For the next one, I like to wait at the bottom of the stairs until it's coming and then jump over, and then go up into this pipe. Up here, there's a few thwomps. Wait for them to drop down and run under them when they're going back up. Do the same thing with this one. We're going to head up into this pipe, and that's going to take us outside. Watch out for a micro Goomba hiding inside of a block over here, and next to him there's a hidden 1-up. The official Nintendo Power Strategy Guide says that we need to use a P-Wing here to find the other 2 1-ups in this space, but I'm gonna let you know that it's possible to do it without the P-Wing. Either way, I don't really recommend going for this, but here's how you can do it without a P-Wing. You want to start breaking the bricks above that green pipe. You can do it by running and jumping and swatting at them with your raccoon tail. So we'll clear out a few more. Once you clear out enough bricks, we'll be able to get on top of the green pipe, and then destroying the rest of the bricks will be a lot easier. So that should be enough. Now we can jump up there and just start breaking all the bricks to the right. So we're just going to keep swatting at them with our tail. There's more bricks up above Mario's head that we can't see, so we want to break out some of those too. They will get in the way later. We're trying to make a runway here so that we can fly, and we also want to be a little bit lower than the bricks that contain the 1-ups. That'll make it easier for us to collect them. So just jump around here a little bit more to try to clear some more bricks. And then we'll run back and forth to get some more P speed. I think that should be good. And there's the first 1-up. It's to the left of this brick. It's off the screen, so it's hard to see. And then we'll run back and forth again to charge up some more, and the other 1-up is hidden in here. You want to hit it and then get right on top of the box so that you can collect it. Once again, I don't recommend going for that. Instead, you should just go up into this pipe, where you can avoid a thwomp, get past one more roto disc, and then this pipe will lead up to where there's another pipe, and that one's going to take us outside again. Up here, if you whack the bricks underneath the pipe with your tail, you can grab a few more coins. And then we're just going to head over to the right, where we can make a vine grow, and that's going to take us to the end. We're running out of time, but it's okay. We're not going to run out. Head up here, and this pipe leads out. We have a bunch of these music box items in our inventory, so I'm going to burn a few of them right now. They make the wandering Hammer Brothers fall asleep and then you can walk past them. If you go back into the pipe that you came out of from the Sky Tower, you'll enter this zone where you can grab a 1-up and then you'll go back down to the land. However, you'll have to replay the entire tower to get back up into the sky. 5-4 is very easy if you have a raccoon tail. So there's a super leaf right at the beginning, grab that if you need it, and then run back and forth to build up some P speed and fly up here where you'll find a bunch of bonus coins. And then you can use that platform as another runway so that you can fly off to the right. Whenever your P meter runs out, just keep flapping your tail and holding to the right, and you'll make it all the way to the exit pipe. It's really that simple. Now Lakitu waits for us at the end here. If you can hang out until there are 4 Spinies on the screen as well as Lakitu, you'll get 5 coins and a 1-up. So that's risky but fun to try for. There's another one of those card matching games for getting 80,000 points. And then we'll head into World 5-5. There are a lot of donut lifts here, so you don't want to linger too long on those or they'll drop out from under you. And it's okay that we got hit here because in this stage we're going to be able to get a free Tanuki suit, but that's not all. If we can get 28 coins, we're going to be able to reveal the White Mushroom House again, and this is an odd numbered world, so this is going to be a P-Wing. This is one of the easier White Mushroom Houses to get too, so don't miss out on this one. Make sure you kill that Paragoomba before you start riding these donut lifts down to collect the coins, but you do want to get all the coins here and then head back to the left. We're going to go all the way back here and enter this pipe. Make sure you get all the coins as you fall down, and inside this big question mark box is a free Tanuki suit. Sweet. The last coin is up here on the left, although if you head back to where those other question mark boxes were, you could collect some of those coins again. So if you're a little bit short of the 28, you could head back there to get the last few. And that's it. We should have gotten enough coins, and there's the White Mushroom House. Toad says that this is a shop, and although we've demonstrated that we found enough coins to pay for the item, he just gives it to us for free. I'm not sure how that business model works, and I feel like if a Walmart opens up in the Mushroom Kingdom, Toad's house is probably going to go out of business. Toad, we appreciate your generosity anyways. And we'll head down here to this bonus stage, and then I recommend going to 5-7 instead of 5-6, and this time I used the Starman on purpose. If you use a Starman at the beginning of this stage, you'll be able to find another Starman in that box, and there's a Fire Flower there, but if you're still invincible, there's another Starman in the left box there, and then another one down here. There's a 1-up in this box, so if you want to grab that you can. And there's yet another Starman over on the right, and that's not really the last Starman in here, there's more. But we'll head down here to the bottom where if we fly up to the top, we're going to find a hidden P-switch, and there's a bunch of bricks around it that can get us some more coins. This is a little bit tricky to do without a P-wing, so it may not be worth it. But if you want to collect some more coins, this is a way that you could do it. So build up some momentum at the bottom, fly up to the top, and try to get as many of these coins as you can. Now there is another use for this P-switch, which we'll go over in a moment. But the first trick I want to show you here is another way to become invincible, and it will last for the rest of the level. Now, I wish I hadn't collected that raccoon leaf, but it's not like we were going to be able to keep the Tanuki suit forever. To do the trick though, you want to hold down on this magic white box until you drop through, and then quickly make your way up into this pipe. When you emerge, you'll be permanently behind the background, and none of the enemies can damage you, although you can hit them with your raccoon tail. Pretty sweet. So we're just going to head to the right, and we can dare the enemies to try to damage us. Once you emerge on this side, you will be able to be damaged again, so be careful. We'll try to get a 1-up from Lakitu, and we got it. And here's the other trick I wanted to show you here in 5-7. If you hit this P switch, quickly drop down to the bottom, build up some momentum, and then run off of the bricks that were created by the P switch, you may be able to fly up here where you can go over this wall, and that will take you directly to the goal. So that's a pretty wild shortcut. And there's another trick I want to show you here in World 5-7. If you reveal a fire flower and then hit a coin from a box that would give you a Starman if you were invincible, the fire flower will start flashing and turn into a super fire flower. And what does that do, you may ask? Well, if you hit it when you're small, it will turn you all the way into Fire Mario instead of just Super Mario, which is what it would do normally. Down here at the bottom of the map is a standard variety Toad's house. They're not handing out Tanuki suits down here. And from here, we're going to head to the second fortress of World 5. This one's filled with lava. That first jump is a little bit tricky. Use your raccoon tail if necessary. Watch out for Pootaboos that come out of the ceiling. You may need to wait there for a moment until they go away. The last box in this row is a Starman. You want to hit it from the left, and then catch it on the right side. That'll give you the most invincibility time. Try to take out any enemies that you can as you run to the right, and there's another power-up in the left box there if you need it. There's a few more Pootaboos over here, but that's going to take us to the end, and it's possible to clip into the side of this pipe. It doesn't do anything special, it still takes you to the boss's room, but hey, it looks cool. And here's Boom Boom again. This Boom Boom has the ability to fly, but if you just hit him 3 times in the same way we've been doing all of the Boom Booms, you won't even notice that he grew wings. It looks like we scored another 80,000 points to make a card matching game, and the Wandering Hammer Brother up here in the clouds has a music box item. The music box is kind of a mediocre item. I'd usually rather just fight the Hammer Brothers, but you may want to save one music box for World 7. It'll let you skip the Piranha Plant levels, so that's kinda good. World 5-8 is a mad dash across the clouds while Lakitu bombs us with spiny eggs. This one can be tough. Just hold down the B button and keep moving to the right as fast as you can. Even if you take a couple hits, you'll probably still make it, and towards the end there's another power-up if you need it. If you do manage to kill Lakitu, he won't be gone for long, so hurry as fast as you can to the end. On the other side, you can mess around with Lakitu here and try to get a 1-up, but I recommend just getting out of here. Now 5-9 is a very tricky one. You may want to use a P-Wing here if you're not confident. This one is all platforming and it's diagonally scrolling. So jump onto these platforms and carefully time your jump to the next one. Keep looking for where the next platform is going to pop up, and sometimes you're going to have to curve your jump a little bit to be able to get up to the next platform. Like right here. You need to jump out to the left a little bit and then curve back into the right. These fire chomps that attack you make it even more difficult. Although when you get towards the top, there's one fire chomp that you can just kind of wait for right here, and he'll self-destruct into your feet. So that makes that part a little bit easier, and when you see that cloudy platform, you know you've reached the top. Quickly run to the right, not messing around with Lakitu again, and that will take us to the castle. Before we head there, there's one level that we skipped, and that was World 5-6. This one has an enemy type in it called Parabeetles, and you can actually ride on their backs, but they will start drifting upwards when you're standing on them, which makes them kind of unstable platforms. The stage is also an auto-scroller, You'll want to stand on the stable cloud platforms at the bottom whenever they're available, and don't use the parabeetles too much if you don't have to. From here you could bounce off of a note block, and you can just skip over that note block down there. You don't want to jump on that one, and make your way over to the right. Of course, there's a P-switch here, and that will actually make this part a little bit easier by turning those coins into bricks. But make sure you get off of them before they turn back into coins. Collect a few more coins before the end. And that one's pretty short, but I still think 5-7 is the better choice. And that's the last regular level here in World 5, so let's head over to the castle and finish this one up. This time the king has been turned into a bird, and although that mushroom retainer is saying that it's terrible, being turned into a bird sounds awesome. I thought that being turned into a dinosaur was kinda cool, but being able to fly as a bird, that would be pretty sweet. Despite my opinions about being transformed into a bird, we're going up to the Koopa airship so that we can find a magic wand to transform the king back into a human. Hey, whatever floats your boat. This fire flower is the only power-up that we'll find on board, and you want to stay on the right side at the beginning of the airship. When you get over to this wall with cannons on it, you want to get on top of it, wait over here on the right corner, and then head back to the left a bit so you can get a running start and make a big jump over here so you can get above these cannons. Wait for a moment and then jump over to the right and quickly get on top of this cannon and then duck down on the right side of it. You're going to need to avoid one cannonball here, that one. Then you can just duck down and let the screen push you to the right. You'll be able to avoid all of the cannonballs. Then you just need to jump over that last bullet cannon and it'll be time to face Roy Koopa. Now, Roy is difficult. Whenever he lands from a jump, he shakes the ground, and if you're standing on the ground, you'll be stunned. So you need to be careful to jump whenever he's about to land. That way you won't be affected by it. Otherwise, you just need to hit him 3 times or pelt him with a bunch of fireballs. And finally, Skyland will be free. The king is happy to be back to his old self, and this king is definitely an old self. Well, he's not a bird anymore, and maybe he knows the magic words to transform us into a bird? Nah, just looks like we're getting a letter from the princess. She tells us that some of the creatures in the ice world will come to life if warmed, and we get a Jukum's cloud. Nice. World 6 Iceland is covered in ice, unlike the country of Iceland, which is very nice. At the beginning of World 6-1, you can grab a fire flower, and we can use that to roast all of the menacing plants in this level. Make your way to the right, blasting through these patooey plants. Once you hit them, they'll drop their spiky ball. And over here, we can find a super leaf and transform into Raccoon Mario. And then all we need to do is get enough runway so that we can fly up into the sky, where we'll find a hidden door. It's near the beginning of the level. In this bonus room, you want to get a running start and then just hold down to slide under those icy overhangs, and you'll be able to hit a P switch on the right side. Quickly make your way to the bottom and collect all of the loot before the P switch runs out. Then you can just exit through the door, slow your descent with your raccoon tail, and make your way to the right. We're almost to the goal. Watch out for this Paragoomba. Use your raccoon tail to take out these patooies. Once you've hit them, the spiky ball that falls won't damage you. And we got 3 star cards again, giving us another 5 extra lives. Although we already have 99 lives, so none of those actually count. They count in spirit, though. There's a wandering hammer brother here, and this one's going to be on ice, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to take this opportunity to get rid of a few fire flowers from our inventory. And we didn't use the fireballs at all, but we were able to kill them by hitting them from below. So if they don't hang out on the bottom tier where you can hit them with the fireballs, Just get underneath them and hit them from below. 6-3 I think is a little bit easier than 6-2, but they're both platforming style levels. Right here at the beginning, you can kick a Koopa shell to the right so that you can grab a raccoon tail. And over here, you can make a vine grow with a well-placed toss. Up here, you can bounce off this note block and go inside of this pipe, where we'll be able to get a Tanuki suit. Nice! Also, if we build up some speed in this room, we'll be able to fly up the left side, and there's a bunch of coins up here. So we might as well grab those. And then we can make our way back down to the bottom and take the pipe on the right. Now I built up some P speed before exiting the pipe, and it'll still be there when you exit the pipe. So you can fly a little bit right as you jump off the right side, and then you should be able to drift all the way to the goal. So that's a pretty easy level, and you get a free Tanuki suit out of it. So that's why I recommend going this way instead of going to 6-2. At the top of the map, we can find another standard variety Toad's house, so just the regular items here. But if we were playing the Japanese version, every box at this Toad house would get you a Hammer Brothers suit. So I'm not sure why they changed that for the North American version, but that's kind of a shame. The Hammer Brothers suit is a lot of fun to use. Now the Tanuki suit that we just got from the previous level is going to be very good here in the fortress. You can even use it to kill the Pootaboos. In fact, you can kill a lot of the enemies that you normally wouldn't be able to kill by dropping on them as a statue. For instance, these roto discs. It's not too hard to just avoid them, but you can kill them by statuetizing them. So just get above them, press down and B to turn into a statue. If you don't have the Tanuki suit, you'll be able to collect a raccoon power-up there. And if you need a second power-up, you can go through that door and then re-enter the room and that power-up will respawn. You certainly want to have a tail item here so that you can run back and forth and fly up to the top here, because we're going to be able to tail swipe this box for a 1-up. Carefully drop between those two roto discs. And it may be a good idea to just kill this one with our statue. But if you head over here to the left, one of the boxes on the left side contains a Starman. Now, if we grab this Starman and quickly run to the right, it's possible to get all the way to the boss while you're still invincible, and then you can just step right into him. We hit him so hard that he was overkilled, and that's why the question mark that he spawned was upside down. With the fortress cleared, there's a bonus stage over here, and then we can head into World 6-4. There's a lot of those rotating platforms in here, and would rather avoid them if possible, so if you jump up to these donut lifts and then do a running jump over to the right, you can get past those first two. Down here there's a 1-up. You can transform into a statue or just do a few small jumps to get onto that small icy block, but it may not be worth it. Get this platform moving and then jump up onto those 2 ice blocks. There's a hidden music note that you can find that will launch you up to coin heaven. So we'll collect up the coins. Just collect as many as we can. And as the screen scrolls to the right, it will eventually reveal the pipe. And then we can drop down, and there's a P switch over here, and that'll make it a little bit easier to get across. It'll turn some coins into platforms, and it'll turn some platforms into coins. Also, if you get a nice big runway going, you can fly up here, and in the middle of those coins is a hidden 1-up. So just jump past these spinners and you'll be at the goal. We're going to have to face another wandering Hammer Brother on ice here. The ice is definitely not as bad as the water from World 3, so you just want to fight them like any other Hammer Brothers. Smash the bricks from beneath their feet. This time the reward is a Jugum's Cloud. Not bad. We have a choice to make here between World 6-6 and 6-5, and I recommend going to 6-5. As a kid, I thought this was one of the more difficult levels in the game, but it's actually pretty easy. You just want to go up this very first pipe. Inside you'll find a power-up. Now I collected it even though I had the Tanuki suit. I don't want to assume that people can keep a Tanuki suit forever, and you can go back into that room as many times as you need to keep collecting that power-up over and over again. You will need a raccoon tail to get out of here. Grab this Koopa shell, hold it, get a good run, and fly up to the top. Then just release the shell to clear out those enemies and break the bricks. You just slide under this one, and you're at the goal. It's really that easy. And for beating 6-5, we'll also unlock another Toad's house. So it's really a win-win. Before we head up to that Toad's house, there's another wandering hammer brother for us to fight, so we'll take him out. And we also revealed the card matching game again. So if you need any more items, the card matching game is going to show up again and again. Make sure to use whatever items you have because you'll have a lot of opportunities to collect more. Here's that Toad's house. We want to make sure that we have some space in our inventory, so I'm going to use this hammer to break that brick before I go in there. Using the hammer to break that brick is going to open up a shortcut, and it will allow us to skip World 7. And there's that Hammer Brothers suit. We don't want to leave it in the end of our inventory for very long or it could get overwritten. And since we use that hammer, we'll be able to skip right by World 7, and you may want to consider using a cloud to skip this fortress. This is the Frozen Fortress, and you want to wait down here until that thwomp is moving back to the left, jump up there, and then drop straight down as that one is moving to the right. Once this thwomp passes overhead to the left, we're going to jump up onto this ledge, run to the right, and hold down to slide under those ice cubes. Then carefully get between these two roto discs where we'll be able to get another power-up. As this thwomp passes over to the left, we want to jump up here and wait on top of this single ice cube. You want to look for a good opportunity to get between those two roto discs. That part can be tough. Get a good run going here and you'll be able to easily jump up over that thwomp. If you know he's there, he's easy to avoid. You can actually manipulate this boom boom by running over to the right. It's not super useful, and you do want to be able to take this guy out quickly because the slippery floor can cause you problems if he gets a little bit out of control here. Just fight him the same way that we always do. Jump on him once, wait a moment, jump again, wait a moment, and then hit him for the third time. World 6-8 is a rare bit of greenery in this icy wasteland. Carry this ice block and use it to take out that Piranha Plant, and then over here you'll be able to use this Koopa shell to take out a number of other enemies. Just run behind it and let it sweep the enemies out of your way. Down here we can grab a few more of these ice blocks and use it to fight back against the Buster Beetles. Inside that question mark you'll be able to find a power-up if you need it. Once you get over to this H of ice blocks, if you get up on the right side of it you'll be able to find a 1-up. Carry an ice block up with you to take out these 3 enemies and then slide down to take out that Buster Beetle on the slope. There's a P block here, and if you hit it and then get a good run going and fly from this upper area, there's a ton of coins hidden up in the sky. If you have a P-wing, they're a lot easier to collect, and there is another reason to use a P-wing in this level, although it's certainly not one of the ones that's so difficult that you need to use a P-wing to skip past it. Nope, you can use a P-wing to fly underneath the level, just like we did back in World 1-2. You'll need to enter the underground on the far right side. You can exit the tunnel through the water on the far left side, but don't try to get into the tunnel through the water. You'll totally die and lose your P-wing. Over here we have a choice between 6-9 and 6-10. 610 is one of my favorite levels in the game, but I like to save that one for last, so we'll jump into World 6-9. 6-9 is actually filled with secrets, but we'll take the normal path through first. If you head up here on top, you'll be able to find some power-ups. Watch out for those munchers, but you're going to be able to do something interesting with the munchers in this world. If you hit one of those P switches, you'll be able to turn them into coins, and there's a P switch right over here. So hit that P switch and try to collect as many of the munchers turned into coins as you can. Not only will they add to your coin total, but there won't be munchers there anymore. That note block has a power-up in it, but the pipe you're looking for is right here. That will take you to the goal. If you have a spare frog suit in your inventory, you may want to equip that before you come into World 6-9. The frog suit, of course, allows you to swim more quickly, and it allows you to swim against the current, so you can go down to this area and enter this bonus room. Inside, you'll find another one of those large question mark blocks, and it has 3 1-ups inside. This is a very unique looking bonus room though. It's the only one in the game that looks like that. With the frog suit, it's not that easy to finish the level, so you may want to get a power-up like the one in this note block here whenever you exit the bonus room. If you want to keep the frog suit, just watch out for this Venus fire trap before you hit the exit pipe. Now, if you're small Mario, it's possible to do a wall jump here and get over the wall and go right to the goal. And there it is. So here it is in slow motion. You want to run? You need to jump at the seam between 2 wall tiles, and right as you hit the wall, you need to hit the A button again. It's extremely difficult to do, and I would say it's the most difficult trick in this entire video. But it is a shortcut to get through World 6-9, and if you're having trouble with 6-9, you can get over that wall using a P-wing as well. World 6 has not 1, not 2, but 3 fortresses. This one is pretty short, but it contains a bunch of these conveyor belts, which will push you in different directions, so watch out for those. If you grab this super leaf and then run against the grain on that conveyor belt, it's pretty easy to build up P speed. So although it may seem like going against the conveyor belt isn't the way you want to go, it's a very good way to build up P speed. If you fly up here, you'll find a couple of bricks that contain 10 coin blocks, and you'll be able to whack them with your tail. So if you want to get some more coins, you can head up here, and then carefully drop down and make your way to the right. If you build up enough P speed, you can easily fly over those 2 stretch ghosts, and that's probably the easiest way to get through there. Make your way down into the left corner, turn and face all 3 Boo Diddlies, and they won't be able to chase you, and as soon as the door gets to the bottom, you'll be able to enter it. This Boom Boom can be tricky because those blocks can get in your way, so make sure you move him out into an open space before you start jumping on him. And after you've finished this fortress, the door will open, and we'll be able to go to the castle. But we skipped a number of levels here in World 6, so let's go back to the beginning and start with World 6-2. There's a few more bonus stages that we haven't cleared yet, so we'll hit those up as we make our way across the map. The reason that we went to 6-3 instead of 6-2 is that not only is 6-3 easier than 6-2, but you get a free Tanuki suit in there. 6-2 has a lot of small platforms for us to navigate, and you won't be finding a free Tanuki suit in here. Just jump over this wall of bricks, kick this Koopa over the edge, and carefully make your way to the right. You can drop down here to collect some coins, but that's probably an unnecessary risk. Make your way to the right, and everything is going to start scrolling upwards. You need to quickly jump up those cloud platforms, or you'll get smashed on the left side. kick those 2 ice blocks out of the way, and there's a 10 coin block above them. Wait for everything to scroll left a bit before you jump onto these platforms, and then wait up here for the scene to scroll a bit more. That conspicuous brick right above us contains a 1-up, and if you hit it and then run down here to the right, that 1-up will come to you. Jump across this cloud and get to the goal pipe, and that's it for World 6-2. And let's see, yes, we were able to get the 3rd flower card, and that's good for 3 extra lives. Not as good as 3 stars, and 3 stars are probably easier to get, but 3 extra lives isn't bad. World 6-6 is another swimming level, and for this one, if you don't already have a fire flower, you want to take the top path first, which will lead you to a power-up. If you have no way of spitting fireballs at the cheeps in the water, it's going to be a lot more difficult, so you want to come up here and grab this if you don't already have it. Make your way back down here, watch out for the cheeps that jump between those puddles, and make sure to grab this Starman. That will also make this one a little bit easier. Head over here into the water, use your fireballs to take out the enemies, and up here in this dead end, you'll be able to grab a hidden 1-up. Once you have it, swim down below, use your fireballs once again to take out the cheeps, and there's another power-up right here if you need it. If you don't need it, you want to drop way down to the bottom, that's the easier path, and then stay up above these wooden blocks. That will lead you into this tunnel filled with Piranha Plants, and on the other side is the goal pipe, but watch out for the spikes that are waiting for you at the end. So take out these guys, there's a few more cheeps here, and 1 more spike before the final pipe. And that's it for World 6-6. If you know how to get through 6-5, I think that's the much easier choice. We were able to use a hammer item to skip past World 6-7, but this is where you'll find the white mushroom house in this world. You need to get 78 coins to be able to do it, and it's not easy. Not only is it not easy, but you're only going to get the boat anchor for doing it, so consider how much you actually want that. You'll need to play chicken on these donut lifts, ride them down and collect the coins. You can afford to miss 1 coin in this level and you'll still be able to get the white mushroom house. Over here there's a fire flower, and if you're interested in getting that white mushroom house, it is imperative that you have a fire flower before you reach the end of this level. At the very end before the goal, there's going to be a bunch of coins that are frozen in ice, and without a fire flower, you won't be able to thaw them out. So watch out for those fire chomps as you make your way to the right here. If you get hit, you won't be able to thaw those coins. And ride that donut lift down and jump across to the right. Now we need to unfreeze all of these coins, and there's a hidden coin in an invisible block on the left side, so you don't want to miss that one. That's like an extra coin right there. So grab that coin and just keep shooting these ones with your fireballs. And once they've all been collected, we'll be able to exit World 6-7 and find another white mushroom house. We're going to use this boat anchor immediately because we really don't have a lot of use for a boat anchor. But if you wanted to be able to get every white mushroom house in the game, well, that's how you do it here in World 6. So yeah, let's get that boat anchor out of here. See you later. And then there's only one more level that we haven't cleared yet, and that is World 6-10. This is one of only 2 levels in the entire game where you can find a free Hammer Brothers suit. To be able to get it, you need to have a fire flower first. Luckily, those are easy to come by here in World 6-10. There's a power-up in that first question mark box, and if you head over here to the right, there's another one in the rightmost of these 3 question mark boxes, which that Buster Beetle was nice enough to reveal for us. We want to throw an ice block into that vine, and if you spawn the vine while it's mostly off the screen, you can have Mario climb across thin air. At the top of the vine, we're going to find a P switch. Don't worry too much about collecting all those coins. Just head to the right quickly. You want to shoot fireballs on these frozen munchers to turn them into coins, and then you'll be able to get inside this pipe. Inside, you can grab the Hammer Brothers suit, and if you collect it while you're sliding, you'll be able to see the rare slide animation for the Hammer Brothers suit. Normally, when you're wearing this suit, you won't be able to slide, but if you collect it while sliding, you can see what that looks like. Although you can throw hammers, you may want to actually use some of the ice blocks here against these Buster Beetles. We would like to ideally keep this Hammer Brothers suit for the airship. So make your way to the right, and then we can collect another goal card and get 5 more extra lives. Before we move on, level 6-10 is one of the only places where you can see what Hammer Brothers Mario looks like while climbing a vine with Starman active, and it is very strange looking. Like a weird Mario yo-yo. And with that, it's time for the World 6 castle. This time the king has been transformed into a seal, and although he hasn't been a seal for very long, he's already pretty good at balancing that crown. Way to make the most out of a bad situation. The World 6 airship starts out with a few of those bolt lifts, but if you wait over here on the left side and just take a big running jump, you can clear these gaps without using the bolt lifts at all. So that's probably the easier way to get across. There's another set of bolt lifts over here, and you can do the exact same thing. Just make sure you wait long enough for the platform to appear on the right. That one looks harder than it is. Over here, there's more of those flamethrowers. You won't be able to kill them with your Hammer Brothers suit like we could as Tanuki Mario, so just patiently wait for them to stop firing and then pass through. At this point, the ship is going to start scrolling upwards, so just wait on top of this flamethrower and jump over to the left. If you need a power-up, you can grab one here, but you want to wait on top of those power-up boxes for the screen to start scrolling to the left again, and then you can jump over here to the right, and you only have to avoid one more flamethrower before you'll find the pipe that leads to Lemmy Koopa. The hammers are not effective against Lemmy, so you want to jump on his head. Similar to Wendy Koopa, he launches balls instead of peppermint rings, and you'll need to avoid those as you fight him. But the room is nice and flat, so it's not that hard to move around in here. If you're able to keep the Hammer Brothers suit throughout the entire airship, once again we'll get another different message from the king. This time, the king wants to borrow our clothes. Yeah, we're not giving him the Hammer Brothers suit. Sorry, King Polar Bear. Nice mustache, though. This time, the princess tells us about the hidden warp whistle at the end of 1-3, and she enclosed a P-Wing for us, which we certainly appreciate. And that brings us to World 7, Pipeland. Level 7-1 is a maze of pipes in a tall vertical shaft. Take out this first Koopa, and those 3 question mark boxes are just filled with coins, so they're not very high priority. There are 3 Piranha Plants up here, so I recommend taking them out with whatever powers you have. Hammers, fireballs, even a whip of your raccoon tail will work. And then head up this pipe. This one's going to curve you around to the right, and if you get on the edge of the pipe and duck down, you can do a jump that curves around those boxes, and then you can get a 1-up. It's also possible to duck down and jump onto this box, which will let you walk through the wall. It's not a super useful trick here in 7-1, but it will be in the final level. Don't worry too much about the Koopa Paratroopa on the left, because we're going to be going up on the right side. If you need a power-up, you can kick this shell to the left while standing on top of one of these question mark boxes. That will get you a super leaf, but I'm going to stick with the Hammer Brothers suit. Don't forget that in these vertical shafts, it wraps around from left to right. You can take advantage of that to collect the 1-up. Watch out for these piranha plants as you climb up here. There's going to be more of them, so you want to jump up a little bit so that you can see more of the screen before you actually commit to jumping higher. And we'll bounce off those music notes. If we had a raccoon tail here, you would be able to fly up from below and jump in there to get those coins, but we don't have one, so we're just going to go up this pipe. It's not like we're really missing out on a whole lot of good action there. And just head across to the right, and that's going to take us to the goal. That level seemed pretty straightforward, but there are two tricks that I want to show you here. The first one is at the very beginning of the level, it's possible to clip through the wall. You just want to keep trying to run and jump and aim towards the middle of the area above the door. So just get a running start and keep jumping at it like you're trying to go through the wall. And it's not actually that difficult to do, it just might take a number of tries. And that'll take you straight to the goal. But if you think that's cool, the next trick is way more interesting. This is the wrong warp. Now you need to do everything precisely here, and I recommend having a raccoon tail before you come in. So kick that first Koopa down to the bottom of the shaft, go up the right pipe and kill all 3 piranha plants here. Go up this pipe, don't hit any of these coin boxes, just walk off the side. You're gonna whack this guy with your tail, pick up the shell and go up the pipe on the left. When you get to the top of the pipe, you're going to press up against the right pipe and kick the shell so that it goes away. Then you're going to whack this guy, and you're going to press up against this box and kick him. Now you want to hit this guy when he's moving upwards, grab the shell and take it down to the bottom. Now this is very important, it has to be precise. You need to stop this shell so that it's just touching that pipe, and that's not close enough. That's not it either. Pretty close, but not close enough. It needs to be perfectly touching, and that's it. So that's what it will look like. And as soon as you get it, you need to go down this pipe. If you haven't been hit yet, as soon as you go down this pipe, get hit once. You need to be in super form for this to work, though. Grab this Koopa shell, and we're going to stand right under the middle of this pipe, facing right. Make sure you're under the middle of the pipe. Wait, and right before the Koopa is about to come out of his shell, go up the pipe. You'll get hit, and you need to go immediately back down. Now we just have to clip into the side of this pipe. You want to run to the left and jump at the side of the pipe and press down and left. It may take a few tries to get it, but you'll start scrolling down into this blackness. Now if we did everything correctly, when the screen stops scrolling, we're going to press A and it should take us to the princess. Now it's possible that it won't work for you if you're playing on the wrong version of the game. It does not work on the PAL version. I couldn't get it to work on Nintendo Switch. And if you're playing on an emulator, you need to have the right version of the ROM. But if you're playing on a regular NES, you should be able to make the princess appear. It's like a magic trick. If another kid had told me about that trick back in the 90s, I would have thought for sure they were making it up. But no, it's totally real. If you go down this pipe on the right side, it'll take you to where there's a Toad's house. Now I'm going to use the music box item here just so you can see what it does in World 7. It puts that Piranha Plant to sleep, so you could skip right over it. There are 2 Piranha Plants that you have to go through here in World 7. The first one will give you a P-Wing, so that might be worth doing. But the second one only gives you a mushroom, so you should consider using the music box to skip it. To be able to move forward in the game, we need to go to level 7-2, and if you have a frog suit, now could be a good time to use it. It certainly doesn't look like a level where you would want to use the frog suit, but pick up one of these ice blocks and make sure you hit this coin. We're trying to get the white mushroom house here, and if we can collect 22 coins in this level, we'll be able to get a P-Wing. This is the last time we'll be able to do the white mushroom house in the game. So here's how you get 22 coins. You have to swim over here, try to collect all of these without hitting the P switch, and then you need to hit the P switch and hurry to the right. You need to have the frog suit to be able to swim fast enough to be able to collect these coins, and you can still get it if you miss 1 coin, but if you miss more than 1, you will not be able to get that P-Wing. Once you've collected the coins, you don't really need the frog suit anymore. Most of this level is above ground and not in the water, so you'll want to go down this pipe where you'll find a super leaf, and you can turn into Raccoon Mario instead. That's going to be a lot better for the rest of this. Up here, you want to finish building this bridge of note blocks, so just keep hitting them from below, and you should get rid of this Koopa shell so he doesn't keep reanimating and bothering you. Head down this pipe once you've built the entire bridge of note blocks, and then go up here. We're going to head to the right across the bridge that we just built. Watch out for the Venus fire traps, and there is a 1-up right in the middle, so don't miss that. If you need a power-up, you can go down this pipe. There's going to be a fire flower up on the right side, so you can head over here, and it's in this question mark box, the only one that's down here. I'm going to stay with the raccoon tail, but if you need a power-up, you might as well go down there and grab that one. And then we're going to keep heading to the right. The pipe that we need to find to get out of here is one of the lower ones. So keep going past here, it's not that one. It's this one. You'll know it because it extends down into the ground. Down at the bottom we'll find another pipe, and that's going to take us to the goal. Now if we were able to collect enough coins, it's White Mushroom House time. So we'll just listen for that White Mushroom House sound. There it is. And it seems that we've found his shop of strange and wonderful things. This one's on the wonderful side. The boat anchor is more on the strange side. If we head down this pipe, we'll emerge near 7-3. And level 7-3 is one of those infinite invincibility levels, so you want to hit this Starman from the left side of the box so that it starts bouncing to the right. Let it get a few bounces before you grab it, and then the box in the lower left corner of each of these sets is going to have another Starman, assuming that you're still invincible when you hit it. That box at the top is a fire flower, but the one below is a Starman. Remember, if you hit a box while there's another power-up on screen, it will eliminate the first power-up. Don't worry too much about that P-switch. You want to focus on keeping your Starman going, and there's 2 more of them here at the end of the stage. And if you were able to grab all of those Starmen, you should have been able to carry invincibility the whole way through, making this level pretty easy. 7-5 is completely optional, so we're going to skip it for now. In 7-4, if you have a raccoon tail, you can build up enough P-speed at the beginning to fly over this wall, and on the other side of the wall there are 2 1-ups. Did you know that if you collect a 1-up and swipe your raccoon tail at the exact same time, it makes a different sound? Like that. It's tricky to do, but if you try each time you catch a 1-up, you probably will get it eventually. Now you can't get over the wall on the right with just a raccoon tail, so we're going to head down this pipe, and that's going to bring us to an auto-scrolling swimming level. This one is chock full of spiny Cheep Cheeps and Big Bertha, so although we wanted the raccoon tail at the beginning to get those 1-ups, we almost certainly want to switch over to the fire flower and let these fish feel the wrath of Pele. Mount Mario is about to erupt. Unfortunately, the most difficult part of this stage is when you have to swim through an entire school of jellyfish, which are called Gelectros, and they can't be killed by fireballs. They sway up and down with the scrolling screen, so you want to stay as far left as you can. That will give you more time to anticipate their movements and find the path through the middle. Use your fireballs to get rid of Big Bertha. She will definitely be in the way there. And once you get over here, you're past them, and the rest of this level isn't that difficult. There's another power-up over here, so if you got hit when you were swimming through those Gelectros, you should be able to power up again, and you'll be happy to have the fireballs down here. They don't work on that lava lotus, so as soon as it pops up onto the screen, you want to swim past that thing. You don't want to be dealing with the fireballs that it spits out. Once you're past it though, you just want to burn through these fish. There's another lava lotus, quickly get past it, and go into the pipe that leads to the goal. And that's the end of World 7-4. We're going to head over to the left and go through this pipe, and that's going to bring us to the next island on the map. At this point, we're going to do an optional level. This is the Piranha Plant, and I do recommend using a Starman before you go in here. This level is very short, and if you use the Starman, you'll be able to have invincibility for most of it. Well, we did get hit, but that's the end. And at the end here, we'll find a treasure chest that contains a P-Wing. So that's why that one's worthwhile. With that P-Wing in our pocket, you may be surprised to find out that this fortress is one of the easiest ones in the entire game. The only enemy here is Boom Boom, and when we hit this P switch, we're going to be able to collect just so many coins. We're going to get multiple 1-ups here, and even better, we can go through this door, and then go through it again to reset all of those coins and collect them again. We're really only limited by the time here, but even if we die from running out of time, we'll be able to come in here and just keep collecting the coins. So if you want to rack up 99 lives before the final world, this is one of the best places to do it. But that's not all this fortress has to offer. When you're done with collecting all of those coins, come back into this room and hit the P switch again, and then go into this door that appears on the left. Inside, we can go down a pipe, where we'll be hung up by some coins that have turned into bricks for a moment. But down here, we'll find a free Tanuki suit. How awesome is that? So this fortress has only one enemy, a ton of coins, and a free Tanuki suit? What were the Koopa engineers thinking when they built this one? In this room there's another power-up, but you need to be able to fly to get out of here, so you want to avoid it. Head through this door and build up P speed until you see a cross-shaped formation of blocks. Right there. If we fly up above it, we'll find the exit pipe, and that will take us to the boss. Lonely old Boom Boom. 1, 2, 3, and he's dead. Well, we almost ran out of time collecting coins, but that's fine. That was a very easy fortress, but don't expect the same treatment from the second fortress here in World 7. World 7-6 is another one of those vertical shaft levels, but this one has a bunch of directional lifts for us to ride. Watch out for these Koopa Troopas at the beginning, and we'll head up here to the left and then wrap around to the right. Here's the first directional lift, and we can ride this one almost the whole way to the top of this thing. So you want to bring it over to this position, just keep riding it up, and once you get past that question mark box, go over to the left corner. We want to be able to jump into the pipe as soon as we see it. It's right there. If you wait too long, the platform will disappear, so you do need to do that with some good timing. If you need a power-up, there's one in this row of boxes. You should be able to catch it as it falls down below. We have the Tanuki suit right now, so we're going to skip this leaf and use this directional lift. You need to jump on it once to make it go to the left, and then jump on it again so that it will go up. And we just want to bring it around that row of boxes. And when we get up here, we're going to jump onto this lift over to the right. These boxes are all coins, so don't worry too much about collecting them, and you can just duck under these ones, and then jump over to this platform. Up here, we'll find another one of those directional lifts. Once again, all of these boxes are coins, so don't worry too much about them. And we're going to ride it to the left, and make sure that you ride it far enough left so that you don't get hit by those piranha plants. And then we're going to bring it back into the middle, and go up this pipe which leads to the goal. Now that level isn't very difficult, but if you've been doing all the white mushroom houses and collecting your items, you might have a lot of P-Wings in your inventory right now. And if you use a P-Wing here, you can just fly right over the wall at the beginning of the level, and that will take you directly to the goal, which will make that level trivial. So if you have some extra P-Wings, that's not a terrible place to use one. On the other side of this pipe, we'll have to choose between level 7-7 and 7-8. 7-8 not only unlocks a Toad's house, but it contains one of the game's only free Hammer Brothers suits. The only other one was in level 6-10. If you fly up here at the beginning, you can sort of skip over the beginning of this level, which makes it a lot easier. There's a bunch of Piranha Plants that you'd have to jump past normally. And then there's a Starman, which makes this next part easy as well. So head over here to the right. There's one of those white boxes there, but it doesn't really have any special uses here. You can still go into the background, but it doesn't do anything that you haven't seen it do before. Right here you'll find a magic note block, and that'll take us up to Coin Heaven. This is not where the hidden Hammer Brothers suit is, so we're just collecting coins here like we would any other time that we went to Coin Heaven. And at the end there's going to be a green pipe that will bring us back to the main level. Now whenever we drop out here, this is where the Hammer Brothers suit is. You want to kill that enemy and go down this pipe, and there will be a big old question mark box with a Hammer Brothers suit inside. The Hammer Brothers suit is especially nice here because you can use it to block the fireballs that the Venus fire trap spit. And a lot of other things that spit fireballs as well. So if you would duck down, you actually have a shield on your back. See? And head past these enemies. There is a 1-up that you can grab over here, so if you want to get that, jump up to the top tier. And that's going to bring us to the goal. And see if we can get, yeah, we got 3 mushrooms, so that's worth 2 extra lives. And it's still probably more difficult than getting 3 stars. Now, don't actually do this, but if you turn into a statue when you collect a Hammer Brothers suit, and this is the only place where you can do this in the game, you'll turn into Gray Hammer Mario, and then you will be stuck in this room until the time expires. It does make you wonder what a Gray Hammer Brother Mario could do if he could escape this strange prison. Now, the next level is 7-9, and if you wanted to skip over it, you need to use a cloud because a P-Wing is not an effective way to get past this one. This is a different kind of pipe maze. The first thing we need to do is get on top of this blue structure, so you want to climb up here in the middle and just keep going up until you can't go up anymore. At some point you'll have to go to the left, so head over here, grab these ice blocks and throw them out of your way, and that will bring you up to the top. Now you're going to head to the right past 1 set of wooden blocks, and then you'll come to these note blocks where you'll go down and head to the left. So follow the path along here. You want to go to the right. Take this guy out. Yeah, not worth it. Over here you can find another power-up if you need it. And then you want to head up to the right there, but if you want to get an extra life and a few coins, we can head down this way to the left. So this is definitely a detour. Gonna hammer my way through these enemies. If you have a fire flower, that's probably easier than using the hammers. And then we'll head up through this block. There's a space between the coins. That's where the 1-up is. You need to bend down and jump to get it. And then there's a few more coins, and we'll head back the way that we came. A lot of Paragoombas in here, watch out for those. Grab those coins, why not? And then we'll head over here to the right. And this is where we could have gone right before, so we're gonna head up and to the right through here. And then we'll head up again and to the right. Then we're just going to go back to the left. There's another power-up over here if you need it. There's a few more coins to the left, but the way we need to go is to the right. And then we just need to hop up through here, and that's the pipe that leads to the exit. So this maze isn't that difficult if you know where you're going, but you can easily get lost in here and run out of time. This next fortress can be pretty tough. If you have a Hammer Brothers suit, it's going to be super useful here. You get a lot of range with the hammers to be able to take out those Piranha Plants, and you can kill a lot of enemies that you normally couldn't, like the Boo Diddlies. Watch out for that Roto Disc, you can stop in the middle there, and there's a Starman here which will make this part of the fortress a little bit easier. You can even kill that Thwomp with it. Make a big jump here onto that set of pipes, and this part is tricky if you don't have fireballs or a hammer to kill those enemies. you can jump up on the left edge of the lower pipe and maybe hit one of the enemies with your tail if you have a raccoon tail, or quickly slide under when the top one is retracted. Over here, there's another power-up if you need it, and over here you just want to jump and run right past this thwomp, although you can kill him with a Hammer Brother suit. Also, if you have the hammers, you can do a little bit of ghost busting, but if you don't, you want to lure that one close so you can jump over it, and then curve your jump down into this pipe. This part is a little bit easier, so if you made it this far, you're in good shape. Notice that you can actually kill dry bones enemies using the hammers. That's pretty awesome. And you'll need to get a little bit of a run and slide under, and don't wait for that thwomp. Of course, if you have the hammers, you can kill them before you go through there, but if you don't, that's how you deal with them. Hammer Brothers suit is a great way to take care of Boom Boom. It only takes a couple hammers to finish him off. The only thing between us and the castle now is this Piranha Plant, and if you don't want to use a music box to skip it, I highly recommend that you use a Starman so you can quickly get through the beginning, and if you make it over to where these note blocks are, you're in good shape. When you drop down here, your only reward is a mushroom. Pretty weak, but the real reward is an open path to the castle. Before we go to the castle, there's a few levels that we skipped, and we certainly don't want to miss out on this Toad's house. This is one of the premium Toad's houses, and you'll get one of the game's better suits here. Make sure you have space in your inventory or it might overwrite one of your other items. And then we're going to head to level 7-7. In this one, we need to grab Starman, and the goal is to carry invincibility pretty much to the end. There's going to be a lot of Starmen. You want to grab this one at the last second, duck under and try to get this one, although it often will bounce the wrong way. You want to hit these Starman boxes on the left side so that it'll bounce to the right. And just keep going across these munchers. The next one is kind of tricky because it's behind a wall, and we got hit, but it is what it is. Keep running to the end, slide under that pipe, and that's the end of 7-7. Definitely one of the more difficult levels here in Pipeland. Earlier we skipped past level 7-5 because it's completely optional. The only real reason to finish it is so that you can get to a Toad's house, but we're going to go back and do that right now. So we'll head to the right and go through this pipe. And when we come out on the other side, we probably should make some room in our inventory for the item that we can get at that Toad's house. So we'll get rid of that super mushroom that we got in the Piranha Plant stage, and then maybe burn through a couple of these fire flowers. Now, if you have a lot of space in your inventory, you don't have to do this. But if you don't, it's not a bad time to take care of it. Head into this pipe. This is a pipe maze where we're going to be creating bridges with invisible coin blocks. Up here, you want to take one of these Koopa shells with you down the pipe. At the bottom, there's going to be some bomb enemies, and if you just kick this shell to the right, you'll be able to get rid of all of them. So those guys are out of the way, slide under, and then create a bridge there with invisible coin blocks. Take out those Koopas and create another coin block bridge. Then jump up here, and we're going to head to the left and go in the first pipe. At the top of this first pipe, we're going to be able to hit a 1-up, and then we want to quickly go back down the pipe. We're going to go into the pipe next to that one, and the 1-up will just roll right down on top of us, and we'll be able to easily collect it. Then we can jump out and head over to the right, where we can drop down here and get a power-up if we need it. If you don't need the power-up, you can just jump over there, so we're going to head back up the middle pipe, and then we're going to go up through the hole and head to the right, past where the power-up was, jump over, break through that wall, and you want to get a running start and just slide under. Otherwise, you'd have to go down the pipe there and up and around. That's another way that you can go. Make sure to finish that bridge and then use a Koopa shell to take out the bombs at the bottom. Then drop down here and hit those coin blocks. Once you have the bridges built, we're going to go on top and head right. There's a hidden 1-up over here, and then this pipe is going to drop us off in an area where we need to create another bridge of coin blocks. So head off to the right and create that bridge, and then we're just going to work our way back up to that same pipe and we'll be able to cross the next time we go down there. So we'll head up through here, take out that Koopa with these ice blocks. We can bring one with us to take care of any enemies that are in our way, and then we'll jump back up on the top and head over to the right. Back down the same pipe that we went down before, but now those coin blocks are there. So we'll head over here, and this pipe will take us to the goal. As I said before, the only real reward for completing 7-5 is a single item from a Toad's house, but at least it's one of the premium Toad's houses that can get you one of the better suits in the game. So let's see what we get. Hopefully Hammer Brother, maybe Tanuki. Tanuki's good, we'll take it. There is a pipe near this Toad's house, but this one is a trick. This exit pipe leads to a dead end. So there's nothing you can really do over here except head back the way that we came. At this point, there's nothing left for us here in World 7 except for the castle, so we're going to head back through this pipe and make our way to the end. We'll go to the right here. We have too many items as it is, so we're going to skip the card matching game. And then we'll go up through this pipe and make our way to the castle. When I saw the headline, Pipe Land King is a vegetable, this is not what I expected. Yeah, being turned into a plant seems pretty awful, so we definitely have to go to the Koopa airship and find the magic wand to change him back. The World 7 airship is less of a single ship and more like an armada of smaller airships, all loosely connected by bolt lifts. You could ignore the first bolt lift here, just watch out for the flamethrowers. And if you need a power-up, you can get one down here in this question mark box. There will be a second power-up that you can collect later, so if you grab that one and you get hit, you will have an opportunity to get another. Once again, we're ignoring the bolt lifts, not needed, and we're going to do a big running jump to make our way over to this side, and we'll just wait here for the screen to scroll a bit more. There's a respawning set of rocky wrenches down here, and if you bump that bolt lift with your head, you can move it over to the left, and then you'll be able to get on top so you can get that power up. There's another rocky wrench over here. Take him out, but watch out for his respawn. And once again, we're not going to use the bolt lifts. You don't have to use any of the bolt lifts in this world if you don't want to, although you may want to use the ones at the very end. Over here are a bunch of smaller platforms, so you're going to get a good running start and jump over them. Run and jump right as you hit the bolt lift here. As soon as you see it spin, that's when you want to jump. Make sure that the platform that you're jumping to is already on the screen though. This one looks far away, but you can definitely make it. And here at the very end, there's multiple bolt lifts. You may want to use these bolt lifts, but at least take a big jump to the middle one, and then quickly jump to the last one and then get out of there. And that will bring us to the pipe, and once we get inside, it's time to face Ludwig von Koopa. Ludwig can stun you when he lands on the ground, and he's also quick on the draw, so you want to hit this guy and just make sure that you aren't touching the ground whenever he lands from one of his jumps. 3 stomps will take him out, and finally peace has returned to Pipe Land. As we drift back to the castle, we are reunited with a king who is very happy to not be a plant anymore. And well, you can hardly blame him. The next world is the final world of the game. But where are we going to next? Maybe this letter from the princess will let us know. Or at least the king says that it's a letter from the princess, but it's actually from Bowser, the king of the Koopa, and he's up to his old tricks again. He's kidnapped the princess and he's taken her to World 8, Darkland. The first level in Darkland is an auto-scroller with a whole bunch of tanks on it. This one can be kind of intimidating, but you have to realize that these tanks are running along the ground, so you don't have to worry about falling off the screen like you would in a normal airship level. So that actually makes this one a little bit easier. You want to mostly stay to the right, but you need to watch out for some of the flamethrowers that appear. If you're far to the right, most of the cannons will be shooting to the left, and you'll be behind those cannons, so they won't be able to shoot at you. The rocky wrenches in this level are red, and the red rocky wrenches will not respawn whenever you kill them. If you have a raccoon tail, you can easily kill them by swiping them with the tail, or you can just jump on top. There's a power-up you can grab here if you need it. You may need to slide under the box to collect it, and make sure that you don't get hit by a cannonball while you're doing so. One thing that you do need to watch out for is that you don't want to get smashed against the left side of the screen. That is instant death. But if you're trying to stay towards the right so that you can avoid the cannons, you won't have to worry about dying that way either. On the last tank before the exit pipe, Bowser has attached his ultimate weapon, the Mega Cannon. It shoots a big cannonball, so just duck in front of it and jump right after it fires. Up on top there's another rocky wrench and a few more cannons, and then we'll have the exit pipe that we were looking for. Inside, the boss is a Boomerang Brother. I'm not sure how that happened, but somehow a Boomerang Brother was put in charge of an entire fleet of tanks. Yeah, they must have run out of Boom Booms. The battleships are next, and this is one of the easiest levels in World 8 because you can swim under 2 out of the 3 ships. There's a power-up in that question mark box, but unless you need a super mushroom, it is very difficult to get it without getting hit, so I don't recommend going for it. Over here is the end of the first ship. Watch out for the Mega Cannon and then drop into the water, and all we want to do is try to get under the bow of the next boat. And once you're under it, you just need to keep tapping the A button so that you'll keep swimming. You also want to hold to the right because we want to keep going to the right, but the screen scrolling should take care of that. So you just need to keep tapping the button. If you do stop tapping the button, you will fall off the bottom of the screen and die, but this is a lot like using a P-wing to skip another level. Over here, we've reached the third boat, and we're going to do exactly as Dory said, just keep swimming. So just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. You could take a look at all of the pretty artillery up on the top. You don't have to deal with any of that. And once you get to the end, there's the exit pipe, and we're just going to jump up onto this little ledge and go down inside where we'll be able to fight Boom Boom. Boom Boom is as easy as usual. 1, 2, and 3, and he's out. But before we go on, if you play this on the Super Nintendo, the end of the third ship is a little bit different. They took off that little step at the end, which makes it very difficult to get out of the water if you're Super Mario or anything else other than Small Mario. If you're Small Mario, you can get out of there easily, and I'll demonstrate that here. But if you're not, I don't know if I can recommend going under the third ship. You probably should get out of the water after the second one. Now, if you don't want to swim under the ships at all because you feel like that's cheating, let's take a look at how you would get past the cannons on the top. The strategy is similar to the one that you would use on the tanks. You want to try to stay towards the right side of the screen because most of the cannons are pointed to the left, so if you're headed over onto the right, they won't be able to hit you. Wait for this Mega Cannon, get down here and duck so you don't get hit by the cannonball, and then get ready to jump over another Mega Cannon. And once you're past it on the right, it won't be able to shoot you anymore. We're going to do a big jump on top of those cannons so we won't have to deal with any of them. And right past another Mega Cannon, that's going to bring us to the exit pipe. So if you don't want to cheat and swim under the ships, it's not that hard to beat them the normal way. I'm not sure why they decided to change the end of that ship for the Super Nintendo version. They hardly changed anything else. In this area, there are 3 levels called hand traps, and there's a random chance that you'll get pulled down into them. This is the third of the 3 hand traps, so I was able to get past the first 2, and this is probably the most difficult of the 3. over here there's a power-up you can grab, and I recommend going over this wall. So jump from this box over. That'll make it easier to avoid the cheeps that are coming up from the lava below. I'm not sure how they swim in the lava. At the end of each hand trap level, you'll be able to get a super leaf. So because of how short these levels are, it may be worth doing all 3 of them to get better items into your inventory. So if you need some super leaves, definitely try this one. This is the shortest of the 3, and you just need to watch out for these pootaboos that come out of the lava, and make your way over to the right, where you'll find the exit pipe and be able to get another super leaf. The rightmost hand trap level features all of the different varieties of Hammer Brothers, so this one's kind of fun. It's pretty easy to get through with fireballs. So either use fireballs on the different types of Hammer Brothers, or hit them from below. And since we're past most of them, we'll switch over to this super leaf, which will be very good in the next level. Get rid of that boomerang brother. And then the sledge brothers at the end. Wait for him to jump, and jump on him right before he lands. And that will bring us to the treasure chest. And that's all of the hand traps. Now, the next level is the airships, and this may be the most difficult level in the game. If you need to use a P-wing here, I highly recommend it. But if you don't use a P-wing, you want to at least have a raccoon tail, so that you can make some big jumps and then flap your tail a little bit so that you can make sure that you land on the platform that you wanted to. You can also use your tail to kill these rocky wrench enemies, and it's important to try to kill them as much as possible because they'll throw wrenches that will just stay on the screen forever. If they throw one to the right, it could be chasing you for some time. So try to kill any of those rocky wrenches that you can, but don't waste too much time on the platforms. The scrolling screen is moving very fast here, much faster than the standard Koopa airships. But if you keep on jumping and flapping, you'll make it to the exit pipe, and then we have Boom Boom to deal with. Make sure you hit him 3 times quickly because this is a flying Boom Boom, and it could definitely get out of control if you don't finish him off fast. With that nightmare out of the way, we can head down this pipe, which leads to the darkest part of Darkland. As I walk through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, I take a look at my life. We still got 99 left. Here in World 8-1, you certainly want to come in here with at least a raccoon tail. If you're having trouble with this one, a P-wing is good, but you can build up enough P-speed at the beginning here to hit that P switch that's up in the air, and then there's just a ton of blue coins to collect. But once you're done with the blue coins, you want to build up your P speed again, because you should be able to fly up to the pipe where you can get 3 extra lives. And this is also a shortcut that'll get you through this very difficult level. So we'll hit this box and collect our 1-ups. I still think it's weird that you can have 3 1-ups on the screen when you hit this big question mark, but you can never have 2 power-ups on the screen otherwise. Once we go down this pipe, we're going to come out on the other side, and here's the best way to get through this level. Kill that enemy, jump on this Koopa while you're still over on the left side, pick up the shell and smash it against the pipe, then quickly run to the right, run back to the left. And you should be able to build up enough P speed to fly up into the air and just keep flying to the right. And when you stop being able to fly, just keep flapping your tail, and that will bring you to the goal. That is the easiest way to finish that level. Otherwise, you'll have to do some very difficult jumps. Now, you may remember from earlier that World 8-2 has a hidden room that you can access if you go down into the quicksand. There's 2 pipes at the bottom, and earlier in the video we went to the left pipe, so this time we're going to go to the right pipe. The right pipe just has a bunch of coins in it, while the one on the left has a power-up for you. So if you need a power-up, go to the pipe on the left, but if you don't, you can come over here and get some extra coins. Whenever you come out, you want to watch out for these Venus fire traps. Don't let them hit you with their fireballs, and then get a big running start, and just fly across that big gap at the end. That'll make the end a little bit easier. What if you don't want to go down into the quicksand? If you don't want to take the shortcut, World 8-2 is the second appearance in the game of the Angry Sun. And we're going to have to deal with the Angry Sun on some difficult small platforms. So I recommend hitting this P switch. That will help you get past this part where you would normally have to jump on those bouncy note blocks. So try to clear that area as quickly as possible and keep dodging the sun. We don't have any Koopa shells to throw at him here. And then at the bottom of this hill, if you don't have a tail, I like to get a big running start and jump right before the eyes on that bush in the background. That will get you to the second note block, and that's another way that you can get over that difficult jump. And that brings us to the fortress. If you want to skip it, you could use a Jukum's Cloud, but let's actually go inside there this time. This fortress is large and there are a ton of doors in here, which can make it confusing. However, all you need to remember to get through this one is to keep heading to the right. You're going to find the exit on the gray side of the fortress all the way to the right. So if you can't go any farther right, go in whatever door is nearby and then just keep on working your way to the right, and eventually you will get to the end. Now here, if you hit this P switch and go through the door in the middle of that roto disc, you'll be able to find a hidden door on the other side. So this door wouldn't normally be here, and we'll be able to get a 1-up inside. So you'll see when we go back through the door that it disappears when the P switch wears off. We're going to keep heading to the right here. There's a few thwomps in this area that move diagonally, but they don't go very fast. You can hide from that one in that corner, and then head into this door. Be ready for the conveyor belts as soon as you go through here, and on this side we're just going to hit this P switch and run to the right, avoiding that dry bones enemy. But that will take us to this door, and then we're almost to the end. Watch out for those roto discs. We need to avoid this thwomp and then head back to the left on the bottom, where we'll be able to find another P switch. Now this P switch will open 2 secret doors, so don't go in the first one, you want to go in the second one. The conveyor belt floor will not move until the P switch wears off, so just hold down and wait. And eventually you'll be carried under the spikes, where we can fight another Boom Boom. So 3 hits on this guy will finish him off, and there's only 1 Boom Boom left in the entire game. From here, we can head up and go to the left, and we'll find a pipe that will take us to the final map. But have you ever wondered what that map with the fortress and 8-1 and 8-2 would look like if somebody turned on the lights? Well, if you go to this pipe on the right and go up the hill on the left side, it is important that you go up that hill, and then you just need to wait here until the time runs out. Whenever you die, you'll come back to the map with the lights totally on and you'll be able to see what it looks like. So here it is. Super weird, right? That is what it looks like when the lights are turned on. Alright, let's go back to the final map. The next level is the Super Tank. They call this level the Super Tank, but it's actually shorter than the previous tanks that we already beat. Once again, you want to mostly stay on the right side of the screen, but over here there's some cannons that are actually firing to the right, so hang out on the left for a little bit until there's enough space for you to easily get past them. Over here there are a bunch of red rocky wrenches, but these are the kind of red rocky wrenches that don't respawn after you kill them, so just take them out and you won't have to worry about their wrenches chasing you throughout this tank. Over here, we're almost to the end. There's one more big tank that we need to ride past. So get up here, and once again, we're going to try to hang out on the right side, although there is another set of cannons that are firing in that direction. So watch out for them. If you hit a bomb, try to kick it out of your way. And once you get up here, that's pretty much the end. Just make a big jump over to the right, and we'll fight the game's final Boom Boom. This final Boom Boom is no more difficult than any other one, so do the Cupid Shuffle and give this guy 3 stomps this time. Beyond the Super Tank, nothing is left but the Castle of Koopa. This is the game's final level, so don't hold anything back. If you have power-ups that you can use, it's time to turn them on. I also recommend putting on a Starman. There are some statues at the very beginning that spit lasers at you, and a Starman will make sure that you can get past those and keep your power-up. There are several false doors in this place, so if you reach this room, you went the wrong way and you're going to get sent back to the beginning. You can usually just run under those statues, but every once in a while I'll get tagged by them, so be careful. You want to ride that platform up to the top and then ride this donut lift down, but make sure you jump off of it before you plummet to your death. You want to crouch down in the middle of these roto discs, wait for them to pass, and then continue up the steps. And at the top here you'll find a 1-up, and if you hold down and curve your jump a little bit, you can get on top of that box and then walk through the wall, and that's a decent shortcut. Carefully navigate these donut lifts. Ideally, you want to stay all the way at the top and make your way to the door on the top tier. If you miss this jump, you can actually fly up here with your raccoon tail. Watch out for the first statue that spits a laser at you, and when you head over to the right, there's going to be a few more donut lifts, and you'll have to watch out for the fire that Bowser is spitting at you from off screen. Drop down here, jump over a fireball, and enter the door, and it's time for the final boss. If you took the upper path through the castle, you just want to crouch down on this brick. It's the 5th one from the right, and you'll find that the bottom of the boss can't damage you. In fact, the only thing that'll be able to damage you here are the fireballs, and if you're in the right position, they should pass over your head. If you do get hit by a fireball or two, it's not the end of the world. Once you're down to small Mario, it'll be even harder for the boss to hit you. You still want to stay in this general area, and when he makes the next jump, we're going to need to walk to the right, and that will be the end of the Koopa King. It's really that easy. Bowser can't break through the gray bricks, which begs the question of, why didn't they just build the entire room out of those? Well, in any case, we'll let this little fanfare play, and then we can head through the door to the princess. But that's not the only way to get through the Castle of Koopa. If you don't have a raccoon tail, it can be harder to get to the upper tier, so you may want to go to one of these lower ones. The one that you're looking for is patrolled by a pair of roto discs. There it is right there. If you get right in the middle of them above the red ball, you can duck down and avoid them. Look for your opportunity to get over, and then you want to trigger this thwomp and head back to the left. Walk behind it as it moves to the right, stand on the donut lift and drop down. Carefully avoid the pootaboos that bounce out of the lava, and make your way to the door on the right side. I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to go this way, but the benefit of this path is there's an extra power-up. Of course, if you have fireballs already, you may want to try those out against the Koopa King. Over here, you want to trigger the fireball by jumping a bit out to the right before you make your jump. That'll make these fireballs easier to avoid. Jump across here and wait for this one to go over your head, then go up, and then wait for this fireball before you go down to the bottom and head into the door. You'll notice that this boss room is a little bit different. Now you can actually jump off of Bowser's head and get up here on top of the door. That's a great spot to pelt him with fireballs, but he can jump up there, so when he does, wait here, and then get back on top where you can continue your barrage. Kneel before Zod. I think the other way of fighting the boss is easier, but fireballs are pretty effective. If you can get here with a Hammer Brothers suit, Hammer Brothers just crush Bowser. It's not the easiest thing to get through the castle and preserve that suit, but if you can get here, wow, really easy. Now if you're playing on the Super Nintendo, this trick where you just crouch down doesn't seem to work quite as well. It seems like the hitbox for the fireball is a little bit bigger, but you can still use it. Once you get to be small Mario, you're just going to want to walk back and forth a little bit so that you're behind the fireballs. Come on, Bowser. You're going to have to do better than that. You think you're so big and tough? Come on, bring it, buddy. Kill me. I'm just right here. Do it. Do it. No, couldn't do it. One trick that does work on the Super Nintendo, though, is using a P-Wing in the castle. Now, if you use a P-Wing in the castle, you'll go past that one-up shortcut, but instead of going in the top door, you want to go through the other path. It's a little bit more difficult. It would be nice to just be able to fly right up into that top door, but the trick will not work if you do that. So fly over all of these obstacles. It's not that hard to avoid them with the P-Wing. Get flying here so you don't get hit by that laser. Avoid the power-up. And then we're just going to go underneath this wall and start flying above all of these fireballs. None of them will hit you up here. Then just drop down and go through the door. There's actually 2 boss rooms, and if you fly up and over this wall, you can find the second one over here to the left. Now, once you see the second boss room, if you go back over to the right and trigger the boss fight, he won't be able to spit fireballs at you. Super weird. Now the crouching down strategy is going to work perfectly. Yeah, there's nothing this guy can do to damage you. Nice try, Bowser. Man, it's gotta be tough to be fighting Mario when all he does is just stand right in front of you. You just keep trying to smash him. You're breathing fire and nothing comes out. And your age is showing there, Bowser. You're just not the boss that you used to be. And so that is the foolproof method of fighting this guy. If you're wondering if this trick also works on the NES, well yeah, of course it does. Just drop down here on the right and you'll find that Bowser is all bark and no bite. Now if you took the other path through the castle, whenever you go over the wall to the left, you'll see part of the castle, you won't see the other Bowser fight, and then this fire-free thing will not work. So keep that in mind. Of course on the NES it's pretty easy to beat Bowser without using a P-Wing, but we got a lot of P-Wings in this game, so if you have some left over in your inventory, there's no reason why not to use it here on the final level. It's going to make beating this boss super, super easy. And that's it. We've done it. We've beaten Super Mario Bros. 3. All we can do now is sit back, relax, and enjoy the cheesy ending. Once the door opens, we can head on through. Hey princess, it's me, Mario. If anyone asks, I did not lay a hand on that Bowser guy. I just kinda crouched there and he killed himself. So I am definitely not responsible. The princess says thank you, but our princess is in another castle. Like anyone would be in the mood for a joke right now. Just kidding, she says. Ha ha ha. Bye bye. There were actually 2 different versions of the ending on the NES. Nintendo changed it at some point. They just changed the names of the worlds, so I'm going to show both versions here, and I threw in the Super Nintendo version as well. I'm not sure why they changed the ending. My best guess is that when Nintendo made the European version, they changed the names for that, and then they just made the future versions of the North American version match. But that's all speculative. I have no idea why they actually did make this change. While I think that Super Mario World has better level design, I like Super Mario Bros. 3 a little bit better because I really enjoy all the variety with the different power-ups, and I think that's why this one gets the nod for me. It's still a tough debate. And that brings us to the end of the 100th episode of You Can Beat Video Games. I want to thank everybody that's been watching since the beginning, and if you just started watching recently, I'm happy that you're here with us too. I've had a lot of fun making these videos and I'm excited to make 100 more. There's a lot of work left to do. Well, I hope this video was able to help you finally beat Super Mario Bros. 3 and return peace to the Mushroom Kingdom. If it did, make sure to give it a like and make sure to subscribe for more videos, because it won't be long before Bowser kidnaps the princess again, and that's why we'll be back again next week with another video game you can beat. Thanks for watching.